Welcome to the Dirt Life Show with your host, George Hamill.
Just say we're live. Welcome, everyone, to episode 140 of the Dirt Life Show. Thank you very much for joining us. We got a Vegas Reno recap for you guys tonight. Stacked roster of people that we're going to talk to. It's going to be awesome to talk with everybody, man. That race was just insane, right? In-house, today we are IMG Motorsports. I would like to welcome my co-host for the night, Mila. What's up, dude?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing awesome. How are you?
Thanks for having me back. I enjoy it.
Yeah, it was awesome to be able to get out there and check out the races. As usual, I have tested all of the technology for weeks and weeks straight, and right when we hit the starting line, Instagram fucks up. So thank you very much, Instagram, for always being a piece of crap.
Yet again.
And I even tested it twice right before you got here, too. So let's just go for it and see what happens, right? So we're going to try our best to let you guys know what's happening. The screen is frozen, so I'm not sure how we're going to do getting all of our guests on, but we'll at least have their audio and stuff like that as well. So let's just go through it real quick. I want to thank Can-Am. They're sponsoring tonight's show. They did really, really awesome at the Vegas Reno race. Pretty rad to see, man, because Can-Am has basically won this race for the last 7 years.
It's a good car.
Yeah,
Good car.
It's pretty crazy, right? Like
Yep.
that record in itself. We'll throw a little bit of love to Can-Am real quick, too. They just released their 2023 models, and one thing that I noticed on there was super cool is they have 2 quads for kids that are fuel injected now.
Really?
Yeah. So how stoked would your kids be if they
Super
got
stoked.
a quad?
Super stoked.
And how stoked would Dad be if he had fuel injection? They didn't have to worry about much as a carburetor.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you very much to the guys over at Can-Am. So tonight we're going to get our guests on in just a second here. We got Mila, maybe you could check it and see if we got Orrin Anderson and Bryce Menzies are supposed to log on here at 5:05. And we're going to see if we can get some of this technology stuff worked out. How's it looking? Are we live? Okay, so we're going to see if we can get Orrin and Bryce on. We also got Travis Zollinger is going to come on, Ricky Brabec, Andrew Short, Moto Dudes get into side-by-side racing. They raced with Jamie Campbell and Darren Hardesty for the Raceco team. Bo Judge and Phil Blurton are going to come on. Nick Isenhouer is going to come on, talk about his 6100 race. Mila, dude, one of the people that I'm so stoked on getting is Chris Kiefner. He rode a two-stroke three-wheeler. Dude, he was a badass, man. So we're going to talk with him a little bit. Brandon Sims, Skylar Howell are going to join us. Vito Renullo killed it. He won the Pro Turbo class in UTV. Mitch Guthrie and Curtis Elliott. They're going to join us. They won the Trophy Unlimited class in a UTV. So that's cool. Max Eddy and Austin Eddy both going to join us as well. They won the normally aspirated class in the UTVs. And maybe a couple other guys will jump on too. But it's going to be a really good show. So thank you very much to all of our sponsors and partners. Looks like we probably got Bryce and Orrin. So we're going to jump on and have them come on real quick. See if we can. Man, I'm so pissed off that Instagram's not working good. Maybe what we can do is try to see if I can figure it out. Maybe I'll hold it like we did last time. Huh? All right. Bryce is already on with us. Bryce Menzies, what's up, dude? How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. Let me crank you up on the volume here.
Oh, there he is.
There we go. Let me flip the screen around real quick. All right. We're just going to wing it, dude. Instagram's being sucky for us, dude, so I apologize. But here's Mila. You know Mila. And we really, dude, Orrin is supposed to come on too, so we'll get Orrin on in just a second here. But, man, you guys had an eventful race last week, dude. Friday was a long day for a lot of people, but you guys really killed it. I mean, the truck was flying. You had good media coverage. I mean, dude, there was a lot of positives.
Yeah, I think Vegas Reno is always one of those races where it's tough. It's long, high-speed roads. This year we just had some issues with flat tires, but I think the biggest takeaway was kind of what we did with the live feed with the Starlink, having onboard camera, and then having it from the heli was just game changer. So super cool to hear all the feedback, and hopefully hopefully down the road we could get it to a level where almost like F1, where you could have the top 10 trucks and have it all live and be able to bounce back and forth. So it's cool to see the sport keep growing, and hopefully we could change it up a little bit.
How much work was it to put all that stuff together? I know that, like, as I was reading through some of the comments and just some of the stuff that come snuggle up, Mila. Some of the stuff that was happening online during when you guys were racing, everybody was so hyped. And I'm not trying to take away anything from your guys' race because I want to talk about that. That's the most important thing. But like you're saying, dude, it's like game changing. Like, how cool is it to share that with everybody, dude? It's insane.
It's really cool. I mean, when we first got into off-road, we had to go race short course because that was the only way that you could make money to bring in sponsors. And now we can have that in the desert where people could sit and watch us live in the desert where they've never been able to see that before. And we've had it a couple years now where we've been doing it off a cell. But whenever you'd run out of cell, you would lose service and the feed would go in and out. So our biggest thing was to try to get this to Baja, and now with Starlink, we'll be able to do live every single race. So super pumped to hear the feedback. It took a ton of work. My dad, Justin, they worked tirelessly to get this figured out, and it was really cool that it paid off and it worked on our first run.
Dude, yeah, I couldn't be more stoked. I got a funny joke though. As O-Ring joins us, what's up, Oren? How are you?
What's up, guys? Good to see you again.
Savage.
Yeah, dude,
From one code on to another, dude. I really look up to you.
Hey, so it's funny because talking about all this technology and stuff, I saw so many people, and even James here at IMG Motorsports today, he's like, what is this Star Trek shit that Bryce has in his truck? I'm like, dude, that's hilarious, but it's so rad.
Yeah.
How did you feel about it, Oren?
It's crazy. I mean, the amount of effort that the Menzies Motorsports team puts into like the race program itself, but just to be able to share kind of what the race is all about and what it's really like as it goes down. I mean, it's very cool to be a part of that. Sometimes it's like, I don't want to say nerve wracking, but when you're getting out to change a tire and it's live feed and you know everybody's watching, oh, please make this look good.
Yeah, man. Well, in all honesty, this is what off-road needs. It's so hard to follow, and even the Martellis do a pretty good job at Mint and whatever. But to be on there live and watch the action happens when you were changing a flat and JLo went by, and then you took the inside going into Gabs. That's what we need, dude.
Yeah,
that's a
dude.
big deal.
It was super cool to see. Did you make sure you had all your makeup and everything perfect, Oren?
I had my eyes closed. I didn't even know what was going on.
All right. So, so you guys did a fantastic job. That media stuff is really, really awesome. It'll be neat to see if some of the other racers catch on and some of the other organizations catch up. So I'm really glad that you started paving the way with your team, Bryce, and everybody that's working on it, because it really is going to help open the eyes up of the sport to a lot of other people.
For sure.
Yeah. It's always, whenever you finish a race, me and Orna used to always talk, and we talk about these crazy situations that we had during the race and tell the whole team. And now pretty much the team, when they were going from pit to pit, they could watch us in the race truck and be able to see what was happening, what was going on. My mom was at home. My grandma was at home watching it. So it's so cool that the sport that we love and we put so much energy into and dedication, now people could actually grasp it and hold on to it and see what we go through, how gnarly it is to be out there on the course for hundreds of miles and hours and hours and hours. And for Oren to be able to jump out and change a tire and be able to see it live, it's incredible. So I think this is really going to be the next step in our sport. And I think it will bring a lot more partners, sponsors, new eyeballs to off-road racing.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah, that's actually a cool thing that I didn't even think about what Bryce did. A portion of it that they can actually see what's going on live, right?
Yep.
So, Bryce, I love that you're sharing it with the world, but this could be something that people do where they just keep it for their own abilities to keep track of the race truck and stuff too.
For sure, and we definitely thought about that. We could have, sealed it and held it off and just used it for our advantage, but the big picture is I want to see this sport go way past when I pass away or when my kids are growing up and they're racing. My family loves this. We put so much time, money, effort into this sport that we love. So we wanted to release this. We wanted to show it. My dad's a huge advocate on always innovating something new, trying something different that no one's done before. So it's really cool to see it pay off. Jason worked many hours with all the people to be able to put this together, and also had the telemetry on there. We're working on that, and hopefully the next couple of races, we're going to try to get somebody to do some commentating to be able to give the people a little bit idea what's going on in the race. So I think it's endless where this goes, and hopefully we could make it where other teams jump on board. And I think it'll grow our sport even more.
Yeah, how scary would that be, though, if everybody heard what was going on inside the car, dude? I don't know if I would release that audio just quite yet. Like, let's take a slow for a little bit here, right?
Yeah, we definitely we joked about that we were talking about putting it on there, and we were trying to figure out if we could cut it if we were saying the wrong things or talking bad or whatever. So. I think for right now, we're just trying to see where it goes, and slowly. But I think having the co-driver and the driver have some commentary on it would be huge. So that's kind of the next step, is seeing what else we could add to it. We want people to get the feedback. Give us your feedback. What else could we do to make the show better? Would be better if we had a tracker on the side showing what position we're in, where other people are at. So I have just got to keep doing that.
I have a request.
What's that?
Pick me, boss. Pick me. How about we give Oren a button that says when he can turn the audio on and off inside?
That's probably a good idea.
The things I'm more worried about are like our pre and post race conversations.
Yes.
Like when we focus, like there's no small chat, we're not chit chatting while we're racing, but like when we're rolling after a race, and sometimes, I might say something that's pretty inappropriate. I really want it's fun, but it's cool seeing the sport grow and change for sure.
All right, so let's get into the race a little bit. We got a pretty stacked show here tonight. We got some good guys following up after you guys as well. But one of the things, or two of the things that I actually wanted to bring up was, dude, Lofton gave you guys a little bit of love when you were coming into that little street section, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, we ran him down, and I chased him down the asphalt, and then I just made a clean pass. I could have obviously hit him, and I made a clean pass, and then it was the speed zone, so I wanted to get to 25 before the speed zone because you're going to get penalized. And obviously, he probably was frustrated that we passed him right there. So he kind of dove to the inside and hit me. And I honestly, thank God there's no audio in the truck because I lost my cool for a minute. Pretty frustrated. And literally, probably 4 miles later, that left rear where he hit me, that's the tire we lost.
Oh,
so I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but at the finish, I was really upset. And then when I look back at the video, it wasn't as bad as I thought. Just I was kind of confused on, I just passed you, I didn't touch you, and then you came and hit me. But all good. We're all in the racing moment, and it made for a good show, that's for sure.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, wow, dude. Like, and I'm sure Justin is just as professional as you are on the track, but I saw it and I was like, dang, that was a pretty ballsy move. So I don't know if you want to say like a racing incident or whatever, but like kudos to Justin for charging really hard, but also kudos to you for keeping your cool.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough in the moments when you got your helmet on, you're heated, you're trying to win these races. It's so hard to win these races nowadays. So little mistakes like that or anything that could happen, it definitely gets you heated. But yeah, and then honestly, right after that is when I found out at pit 11 that our Sierra was 9 minutes up on us. And that was the first time all day that I heard his name. So I lost my shit again when I found that out, because I told my guys, I'm like, in 90 miles, there's no way I can make up 9 minutes. So
it's a lot of time.
We tried. We made up, I think, 3 or something. I don't even know. But at the end of the day, it was we didn't have the luck that we needed. We had too many issues with stick flats. One sidewall that I got, and that just what held us back from, I think, winning this race.
I was going to ask you about that because I talked to Dan afterwards, and obviously you guys have the same trucks, and he said all his flats were unearned. And I was like, okay, well, Bryce is on different tires. Where was he? Or were they earned or unearned? But it sounds like you got some sticks in there.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. I mean, we would see the pressure start going down. We saw two do that, and then we had one that just exploded on the run doing about 120.
Those are
and
fun.
Then we had a sidewall one. So, like I said, nowadays with the competition, one flat tire, it seems like you could almost lose a race. So this race is tough to manage, to be out front with how fast the pace is, how high speed the roads are. And then also with all the rain, the weather, being the first guy to all these stuff definitely played a part.
Well, I was surprised when you guys came through 4, you and J-Lo, you checked out. There was no one for minutes, and then I think Dean came by, and then Arciero. So I was surprised at the end, too. Arciero obviously had some clean air, but I was surprised as well.
Yeah, where were all those little, like leapfrog or rubber band? Like, everybody was kind of going up and down.
Yeah, me and Lofton just kept going back and forth, and then, honestly, I kept asking my dad when I got behind Lofton. I knew the pace we were going pretty slow, to be honest. I kept asking if he had an issue or he had a problem, but I think he knew that if he ran faster, he was going to have tire issues or something go on. So I kept asking my pit crew, I was like, hey guys, is anybody catching us? And they kept saying, no, you're good on time. Lofton has you, but you just have to make up 2 minutes on him. And then, like I said, pit 11s, when I found out that Arciero had 9 minutes on us, I was like, what? How the heck am I just hearing about that? So me and Oren had a good laugh at that at the end. But Vegas Reno, man, we really strived to win that race. Oren did an awesome job changing 4 flats. I feel really
savage,
dude. I was gonna say, like, with
still getting us to the finish. So
yeah, totally. I was gonna say, with all that pressure, because dude, I would have never thought that would have happened. Like all the stick flats you guys are talking about, right? But Oren, like, let's just say in a perfect world, you didn't get any flats. How fast was the pace? Like, where does when you guys are driving home after the race, where is the conversation going? Is it going like, all right, this is what we can do to do better? Or is it just like, man, it was a shit show. Random flats. Like, we did everything perfect today. It just didn't work out.
Yeah, I mean, it's always frustrating. I mean, Bryce is really good at starting out front and running his pace and controlling the pace. So, like, having a game plan, he always likes to drive real conservative the first half so that we don't have issues like stick flats and things like that. So he's really good at saving the truck, so we have something we can push on the last section of the race. So to kind of be sticking to our plan and have kind of freak stuff happen, free kind of unearned flats. I mean, it's frustrating, but comes up with before we go racing, like, it's solid, and if everything goes if we have good luck and everything goes to plan, it's going to work out good for us. But
that's the way. That's so crazy. That's the way it is. Like these days, Mila, it's literally balls to the wall as much as you can give it to the finish line.
It's not like the old days when I was in the trucks chasing Bryce. It's literally hammer down from the get go. That's why I don't co-ride anymore, because I can't keep up with Oren.
I remember back in the day when it used to be like a reward to co-drive. If you worked hard, or depending on the team, you might get a section as like a, hey, thanks for all your help. But now, it is full throttle the entire time. Like, you have to be so, as a driver and I feel as a navigator, the pace is so fast. Like, if you look up or if you miss one thing, like, the race is over.
Well, and then it transcends down into even the pit team, because if you don't get the actual splits you need, like, hey, Arciero's coming, then you really can't even make the calls in the car. So it's like everybody's got to be on the same page.
Yeah, that intensity level has definitely. But it's kind of cool though that you guys are in this time, because we just talked about the technology developing, but the whole racing scene is developing, right? The new trucks are becoming better. Like, the gaps are shortening up between each competitor. Like, the whole desert racing scene is at like a prime level of experience now. And now that you guys have the ability to show it to people, like, there couldn't be any better things that are just all meshing together, Bryce.
Yeah, it's incredible. We've been racing since 2007, and to see where trophy trucks have gone is pretty wild. We started in a 2-wheel drive geyser, and we developed that thing for 7 years, and then we went to 4-wheel drive, and now, like I said, we're going so fast. It's honestly scary sometimes that. Vegas Reno was, honestly, this one was pretty terrifying, because there's parts. Best in Desert did a unreal job with all the weather, remarking the course, trying to get us to even race. So when we're running 130 and we don't even have a road in front of us, a map, anything. So it's pretty scary nowadays, and that's why you really got to trust the guy sitting next to you. Because one mistake and you're flying off the course at 140. So you really got to trust that guy and feel confident in him.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And yeah, you guys are the dream team, right? Just like
I agree.
Like Mila was saying. All right, so let's switch it up a little bit. I wish that you guys come across the line first. Next race for you guys is what?
We're going to head down to the Baja 400. So looking forward to getting back to Mexico and showing the live stream down in Baja where we've never been able to do it.
That's going to be so insane, right? All right, the last question of the night. Let's let Oren answer first, and then you go second, Bryce. What snacks did you guys eat along the way to the finish line?
Boy, I'd say the only snack break we had was on that transfer stage. And Bryce and I shared a Trader Joe's turkey club wrap.
Whoa,
that's pretty good.
We getting bougie out in the desert, dude. That's
pretty good, pretty good.
All right, so
we carried, and we got a little gourmet for the mid. If we got a break for lunch, we never get that. Like, we didn't take advantage.
Yeah, that's true. All right, well, yeah. So I guess he kind of already answered for you, Bryce. But we really appreciate you guys doing what you do for the off-road community. Obviously, you'd like to come across the finish line first, but I know maybe we'll get to see a little bit more of that winning style coming up here later this year.
It seems like Vegas to Reno the last few years has just been not your race, and I can't wait till you get back on top, man.
Yeah, it seems like it goes in waves where it's we do really good, and then we have a couple off years. So I think I just got to go back to where it was. You got to go slow until honestly like pit 8 or 9, and just be cautious. And that's the years that I won. Is I had a clean race all the way to those pits, and then we pushed from there. So I think this race, it seemed like when Lofton got by us with that first flat, we just tried to push the pace a little bit too much in the middle, and it kind of just slowed me and him down and let everybody catch us. So I appreciate you guys having us on. Thank you so much. And I look forward to growing this sport and keep it going forever.
Yeah, you guys are doing fantastic. Hey, we had a fan question come in from John Lewis at Desert Squadron. Actually, I'm going to let Bryce answer this one. How many times does Oren get a free flat until you owe him?
Oh, man. Honestly, on the fourth one, I was like, I felt so bad. I was like, if we get one more, you're not even getting out. So it's tough, man. Those flats, and nowadays with those tires weighing 140 pounds or whatever they are, he manhandles those things around. He's a beast. There's no way I could do it. That's why I just stay in the truck.
Yeah, give Oren a steak dinner one of these days. Hey, thank you guys very much. We really appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time out of your guys' busy schedules. We love you both, and we'll see you next time.
Good luck in Mexico.
Thank you, guys. Nice shirt. Love it, dude.
All right, man. So we're going to get Travis Zollinger from Zollinger Racing Products on. So go ahead and jump on the feed, Travis, and we'll get you on here. It's super cool to see that, though, right, Mila? Because, like, I always say this about the off-road community. Like, these guys are so humble because everybody appreciates the wins. They appreciate the good races. They appreciate the competition. They appreciate their crew members. There's so much stuff that happens to get to the finish line that you can just see. Like, Bryce was a little deflated. Oren was a little deflated. Yep. But they know that they have so many things that they have to deal with along the way.
Yeah. It's a long list of all the things have to be in line. And then just one of those things, it just deflates you. But as those two know, it's all on how you handle it. If you just, take it in and go, okay, next time, like he said, we're going to attack it differently.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we got Travis Zollinger from Zollinger Racing Products on with us on Instagram now. If you guys are on Facebook or YouTube, please feel free to head over to Instagram so you can see the live feed and you can see everybody's pretty faces. So Travis, man, how was your guys' Vegas to Reno? You drive a single seat Can-Am in the UTV, what do they call it now? Trophy Unlimited class. And you pulled, what was it, a fourth, man? That's pretty insane.
Yeah, we had a great run. No flats, no issues, dumped gas in and went.
Dude,
that's really a dream race.
Yeah.
So we were just talking to the Menzies boys, Oren and Bryce, and obviously they, have a little bit more power than you guys do in the side-by-sides, but he experienced a lot of flats and you didn't experience any. So that, like, it just goes to show that sometimes luck plays a massive part.
Yeah. I felt like I should have earned 2 flats, but somehow.
There you go, Mila, talking about earning flats.
Earning flats, they're easy to get. It's easy to overdrive. I've been there. I've overdriven, get a flat, and you're like, dude.
So I didn't get to ask Bryce this question, but how is the track? Was it easy to earn those flats? Because what was the problem with everybody getting so many flat tires? Like, what was the conditions?
One of them, I was driving into the sun, and I really picked up the 2 rocks that I hit. They were in the track, and I just, I had no hope to avoid them, so I just drove straight over them and just sat and hoped.
And they stayed afloat.
That's crazy. Was the track just super treacherous compared to previous years?
In spots, yeah, the washes seemed to be a couple spots were really, really nasty. At least in my car, they sent a hard shock through the front of the car.
Oh man. But okay, so maybe give us a little bit more of some of the positive stuff that happened. So, did you guys come out with anything new at this race with the single seat car?
The car's new this year for us, and we've been racing it at through Ultra 4, and this was the second best in the desert race. We put it in, and yeah, it's doing great. We've got some billet trailing arms that are holding up really well, and
nice.
We're doing our own A arms and upper and lower, and we've changed the geometry a little bit, and it's making it way easier for me to drive.
Nice, yeah.
Yep, and way less feedback into the steering wheel. So in the UTVs, we have most of us are running little power steering boxes over the steering rack, and in the Can-Am, one of the things that it suffers from a little bit is it pushes more feedback back into the steering wheel.
Yeah, it's so cool to see the progress of everything, right? Hey, Travis, we're running a little bit behind. We got a bunch more people we got to get on. So what was one of the funnest things that you guys had happen during the race, maybe with the team or something behind the scenes that we weren't able to see?
Me and Austin Wieland ripped up Mount Como at the end of the race. Really fast.
Dude, how fun was that?
Oh, dude, he's a wild man.
That he is.
That was the craziest part. Is I had just passed Cody Bradbury, and I had been pushing through some dust, and you get up on the switchbacks, and I look down, and I see two sets of lights, and I'm like, well, somebody else is probably coming, and I get headed up there, and I was pushing pretty hard, and he's making ground on me, and I was like, holy shit. Whoever this is coming. And
he's an animal.
I didn't lift up. Yeah, I didn't lift up, and he kept coming, and I talked to him after the race, and we had a good talk about it. They said I threw a basketball-sized rock at him as we went to go by.
And he didn't get a flat still.
He didn't get a flat.
Dude, that's so crazy. Well, we'd like to talk a lot more about your race. We got to get Ricky Brabec and Andrew Short on here, man. I appreciate you taking the time with us.
Good.
And fantastic ride, man. I'm so stoked to see the program keep evolving. What's the next race for you? And then we'll let you go.
We'll be in Crandon for Ultra 4.
Sweet, man. All right, we'll kick some ass out there in Crandon, and good job, man, on coming home with the fourth.
Clean run.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for having us on. Appreciate it.
No problem. All right, later, Travis.
Okay, take care. See you.
All right, so we're going to get Ricky Brabec on here and Andrew Short. Andrew's going to join us, and then we'll let Ricky jump on as well. Andrew Short, what's up, homie? How are you?
Hey, man, it's been rough over here for me today. I'm not feeling super great, but stoked to be on the show.
Oh, thanks, dude. I appreciate it. We're going to let Ricky join in just a second here. But, all right, so anybody from the audience that doesn't know who Andrew Short is.
Me, I know.
Yeah, factory racer on two wheels. Now he does a little bit of, he's done Dakar stuff. He's done a bunch of other stuff. And now he's venturing out. And he did some Codog stuff with Ricky Brabec here at Vegas to Reno. So how was it? Like, I don't know, were there nerves when you first started, or where were you at, like, in your mindset? Oh, there we go. Ricky's on now.
What's going on? Looks like Ricky's on a mission. He's getting ready for Dakar, but I was super appreciative just to have the opportunity, especially with Ricky and also with Jamie with Race Cup. They're an awesome program, and it was totally different. Nothing like motocross or supercross, but it was an experience I really enjoyed. I have a lot to learn. Definitely a long list after the race of things I could do to improve, but it was fun. And that course was so overall, it was a great experience.
Yeah, so he got to drive shotgun with Ricky. Mila's got a lot of experience in the right seat, too. What suggestion would you give a newbie to the right seat?
It's a long list. It'll come, but my main concern was keeping my driver calm and making sure I did not miss a turn. And then it just kind of builds from there. But those are the first two keys I could say.
Hey, Ricky, what does it take to keep Ricky Brabec calm? Was it Andrew Short doing it?
Andrew Short, he did a great job. I was actually really impressed. He called out every single note that he could. He kind of freaked out when the GPS went south for a little bit, but no, we had a great time.
Is there a little bit of a rivalry? Because obviously you guys have a really both great moto background. You guys, do Dakar, but you're like, that was an easy ride. Well, I thought it was a hard ride. Is there anything like that in the car?
I mean, against us too, I think we're more friends than competitors. So I think it's all good between us. I hope.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, I can see what you're saying though. Yeah. Like going into a corner, being like, Ricky, dude, why'd you pussyfoot it around? Yeah. You could have hammered it, bro. Like, what the hell?
Open a little more, guy.
I think the big difference is we speak the same language from moto. So maybe me helping out a car guy would be completely different. But with Ricky, I think I can trust that he knows how to read terrain and. For me, I just feel more comfortable with it because I've ridden with him so much and it's not so competitive. And with rally, it's just like this race, everyone goes off on their start time and it's not like moto where there's 20 people on a gate and you're all going into the first turn throwing elbows. So I think it wasn't so much competitive between us when we raced, and we've always been good friends, but we also speak the same. It really helps in terms of
Yeah, cool. It makes a big difference, though, right, when you have that same mindset. I always thought that same thing, too. Like, it was really hard for me when I first started racing side-by-sides to translate the same moto talk that I always talked to the other guys that were on four wheels, because they're like, what the hell are you talking about, dude? That's not how it works. And I'm like, okay, I got a lot to learn here.
I think for us, too, like, understanding the dangers, like a danger 2 for this is completely different than rally, like at Dakar. So for me, just to learn and understand how the course was marked and try to understand, how to read that terrain and to communicate it so we don't lose so much time, but then also communicating when we really do need to slow down. That was one thing I definitely learned. And I'm not familiar with the technical side of the car, so this is something that I would definitely have to improve on and practice just to be more efficient and faster. But it was something I really enjoyed, something new, a lot of fun, and just super appreciative that Ricky asked me to do it because it was a cool experience.
Does that mean you want to get in the driver's seat?
No.
No? Oh, you'd be good at it, man. It's always the moto guys. They do so good at it.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
I would like to, but Ricky has some skills.
I was going to say, Ricky, if it's a long race, would you share the driving time?
Yeah, most definitely. Riding at like a long event like Vegas to Reno or maybe like a Baja race and a side-by-side to solo is a long day. It's a lot different than a dirt bike. The dangers you have to slow down a lot more for in a side-by-side or else you'll just tear the car apart. I mean, like the double dangers on a moto, we can just wheelie over those things. Right. But in the side-by-side, yeah, you got to slow down and like kind of do the whole motion. We're not in a truck, so it was a learning experience. It was fun. Like I said, Andrew did a great job, and we got the car to the finish.
Yeah, like preloading and scrubbing in a side-by-side is like non-existent. Like you try so hard, you like hit the brakes and gas it and like try to wheelie it, and it's like an inch off the ground. You're like, dang it.
Little
I
different.
think there's a couple of times where me and Andrew are trying to lean back,
Dude,
rad.
That is super cool. All right, tell us a little bit about the race, though. Maybe give us a couple highlights. Why don't you go first, Andrew, and then Ricky, you go after.
The highlight was just more or less the whole day and getting the anticipation of getting in the car because I'd never even been in the car. So the first little bit was a little bit trippy to me. It was really fun. Everything was coming at me really fast. And then obviously the course changed off the original course. And so I lost the GPS and I panicked a lot. I was really confused and I never used that system before. So all this, there was a lot of chaos, but as a racer, I love that because you're in the moment and you get to enjoy it and see Ricky drive and how he just tackles the race in terms of strategy and how he does move around, kind of like a dirt bike, getting in and out of the lines and adjusting to the bumps. So it was really cool, and that was definitely the highlight. Was just making it to the finish, I guess, and being done. Stoked to be there and.
Dude,
so overall,
Mila, talk about being thrown in the fire, right? Like just barely sitting down in the car and stuff. All this random stuff goes
Here's a new
awry.
GPS.
Right? Yeah,
and
but
you get to ride with Ricky, who's a savage.
what was your highlights, Ricky?
I'd say the whole experience was kind of the highlight. That's my first big event in a Honda Talon. We had a lot of fun, but like Andrew said, the anticipation, we were kind of just sitting there all day waiting for our turn to get in and enjoy the moment. We did the best we could, even when we didn't have a GPS, and also when we were just stuck behind people that, don't really respect the system that Best in Desert makes you buy. But, it was frustrating at times, but all in all, it was a good experience. And, I feel a little bit bad, because I feel like on my end, we let Jamie down, but, we go out there always to win and do our best. So, if we're not winning, then there's always, just that in the back of your head burning until the next time. So,
yeah, but
we can figure it out and come out on top.
Hey, Andrew and Ricky, both of you guys will agree with this. That's a racer mentality, right? Like, you always want to do better. Even if you won, you still would have known what happened shitty during the race, right? But two good things that I got out of what you just said, Ricky. First of all, awesome that Jamie Campbell from Raceco USA gave you guys the opportunity both to be able to drive the car and share driving duties. That in itself is an opportunity for anybody, right? Even a Dakar champion or a motocross race winner. Like, that's an opportunity that you don't want to pass up. So kudos to Jamie for giving you guys that opportunity. We're going to have him and Darren Hardesty on in just a second. But what was the stuff that happened during the race? Like, give us a little bit of a race breakdown.
First off, thanks to Jamie. That was incredible. He even called me for this, and then he's like, who do you want to co-drive? And I'm like, I don't know. Then I called Andrew, asked if he was free in August, and then he was asking me the dates, and all of a sudden, the dates lined up, and here we are in Vegas. But for the race was good. Jamie was freaking killing it. I think we started like 47th, and literally right before we were about to get in the car, I think he's made his way up to about 11th place physically. So we were super pumped and anxious to get in. And then literally right when I was looking at the tracker, we got word on the radio that, Jamie got 2 flat tires, and the car only holds 1. But again, this is all from that speed limit that no one respected. 3 people smoked by Jamie and kind of put him in the dust for the section before Mina. And when you get past in a speed section, that kind of frustrates people. And I was frustrated as well on my section because of some issues. But we got the car together, and we just enjoyed our day.
Yeah, it's kind of gnarly, like, when you think about it like that. And especially from all of us coming from like motocross, and there's so much less things that can happen out there. There's all these variables that come into play. I try to be as humble and respectful as possible, but when it's somebody else's fault, like when you have a racing incident, it deflates your confidence so much when you're in the car. It's hard to get that back, but one thing about you guys that are good racers is you can forget about the last corner in like 2 seconds and just move on and start pushing forward.
I don't know about that.
Well, I think you guys do a good job.
I think that's more important. Like motocross and supercross, you're only as good, if you make a mistake, you leave it in that corner and you keep going forward.
Yep.
And maybe car racing's the same. And I think it's hard just to control it as a driver. Just to only drive what you can see. Sometimes Ricky was pushing it so much, and I was scared that we were going to ruin the race just because he's so ambitious. But,
I like the word just because he's wooded. That's awesome, though.
I lost Rick.
Yeah, it sounds like we just lost Ricky's connection or whatever. But yeah, just because he's wooded, huh, Andrew?
It's
Ricky definitely charge, but yeah, I think he's headed out to the desert for testing and all that. So he's already focused on the next mission for Dakar. But
just like we said, moving forward, right? What was your overall feeling after the event, though? Were you just like, damn, I want to try this again?
Afterwards, I just was trying to make a big long list of things I could do better. I was a little bummed, and I'd want to keep it all fresh. So I was stoked to make it to the finish. I was stoked for Jamie and his whole crew at Race Crew. He had a cool group of people that helped out. which was awesome. And just to see them and celebrate was awesome.
Yeah, Jamie's a good dude.
Yeah, for sure. It is cool to see that, man. And when you see the team effort, right? Like you've been on massive teams and motocross and obviously the Dakar and stuff. And this guy right here had you guys part of his team. So, Andrew, we're going to let you go. You want to say anything to Jamie before you bail out?
Just super appreciative for him and his crew. And I can't imagine the hard work that it takes to prepare for a race like this with all the team. And he did a great job. So I was very thankful to be a part of it. And it was an awesome opportunity. And also for Ricky. And and also thanks for having me on. It was awesome. And I hope you guys have a good conversation with Jamie and have a good
All right. Thanks, Andrew. Yeah. We really appreciate it. Yeah. Just like Jamie said, we really appreciate it, Andrew. We hope to see you at the races more often, dude. It's always good to see such a nice, humble face at the races. So kudos to you, bud. Hopefully we'll see you there.
Yeah, man.
Likewise.
We'll see you at the next one.
There you go. Jamie answered it. All right, later, Andrew. All right, so welcome Jamie Campbell from Raceco USA to the show. How are you?
Guys? I'm trying to get the volume up on this thing a little bit.
Crank it up, man.
Hey, real quick, I'm kind of deciphering what Brabec said. I think he said he needed a bigger front bumper. I don't know if I heard that wrong, but...
Yeah, so,
Those guys were awesome. I mean, it was kind of like, Elliot was... signed up to race with Mikey, and I'm like, man, who do I get? And I knew Ricky was Johnny, my brother at JCR Honda, and Ricky been doing, durability testing for the last few weeks. And Johnny had mentioned that he might have had a break in testing for a few days. So it worked out. We did some testing in Barstow. Ricky was there with Johnny doing Dakar durability testing with the bike and all that. So just worked out, and super stoked that both those guys got to be involved with it, and they did way better than they're talking about too,
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying, like, and those opportunities, like, well, Jamie, those opportunities don't come that often, so I was really glad to see that you were able to put that program together for both of those dudes. We're gonna get our boy Darren Hardesty on as well, but it's gotta feel pretty cool for you too to understand that those guys want to be a part of your program.
There he is. 3 times.
Hey, guys.
Darren Hardesty, what's up, homie? How are you?
Good.
Hey, Darren, it's good to see you again.
You too. We saw each other recently in Prim.
Yes, we did. It was a good time.
But yeah, so Jamie, like having Darren, having both of the moto guys, Andrew Short and Ricky Brabec on your squad, like as much as it's really, they were appreciative of you giving them the opportunity. You're also on the other side of things too, right? You got to thank them for being a part of that, because that's some pretty heavy talent that you're able to put in these Honda talents to be able to show the capabilities of the vehicles, to show the capabilities of your products. Like, it's a pretty rad deal.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I would have never asked these guys to do it with me if I didn't think they were 100%, ready to do it or talented. I mean, obviously, Ricky driving it, he hasn't raced a bunch of UTV stuff, but he's been doing DP4s and winning and stuff like that. So it just fell together. I mean, I have a hard time letting certain people drive my personal vehicles anyways, but I had full confidence in those two guys. And, I brought Darren along. It was kind of like I needed a co-rider, and Darren's been hanging out at some races. He's buddies with Elliot and Trey Hernquist and all that. So, I was like thinking of who can I get? I'm like, man, I'm getting Darren because it's going to be a blast. The kid's a full clown. It's all good. He loves to clown around and make jokes. And I'm like, this is going to be a blast, just having Darren in there.
Yeah. Hot sauce
right there.
Is Hot Sauce joking the whole time when you're riding, or what?
Hot Sauce was perfect. He got serious when he needed to be perfect or serious. And,
I like to think I was keeping
I'll tell you this. He coached me every inch of the short course qualifying. He coached me and made me a better short course driver. So it was pretty awesome. I should have just let him qualify, but
I was gonna say with all his short course ability and with having a cutting brake and the buggy and stuff like that, he's probably telling you to turn in like 100 feet before you're even thinking about pulling the back end around to go through the corner.
I was making my own motions. Like, I would be telling him to do something. I'd just out of muscle memory, reach for the cutting brake where it would be in my car or something. I'd be like, oh, yeah, Jamie, throw it in.
And Yeah, that's so funny, man. But that's cool, though, that you guys have that racing capability to be able to fire back and forth. And how did it work during the race? Like, maybe give us a couple highlights during your guys' stint. Darren, why don't you go first, and then Jamie can go after.
I'm sure me and Jamie are probably thinking the same thing right now. But I think probably the highlight for me was our pass on Jim Beaver. We were racing down this wash right before Rawhide, I think it was. And it was long straightaway, kind of downhill coming into a danger 3, super good Erica Sachs notes, danger 3 cliffs on either side, 90 left. And we got on the push to pass and siren, and he moved out of the way, and Jamie just motored through, and like, he hit the corner so fast and so perfect. We were, both of us after were just like, wow, that was awesome. Like, that was definitely the highlight for me. That was a real racing moment.
That's rad.
Yeah, that's pretty cool,
It's a good feeling, dude. When you rail a corner and you're passing dudes at a high rate of speed.
I was charging hard because that was, I think Ricky said something. So after restart, you know, it was 45 for 5.5 miles. And so we're sitting there, you know, just, you know, our anxiety because we're going 45 miles an hour and it's not racing, you know, and you're going, man, this is brutal. But all of a sudden here comes Jim, and I'm like, you know, what the, you know, whatever. And then Matty Hedeking right after him. And then I'm like, what is going on? You know? And at that point I'm like, this is bull. Cause we had Clean Air, the guy that's left up. I had caught and passed a couple of those guys. And so the next car that started in front of us, he had like 2 minutes on us. So I'm like going, we're going to have Clean Air. We're going to be good. And then all of a sudden these guys pass us in the times in the speed limit zone. And then a third car comes in and passes us. And I'm just going, what is going on?
Yeah, you got to be so confused at that point.
There was a lot of people that didn't get that memo.
I was,
you
know, it maybe
it's wild.
I still give Best in the Desert huge props for pulling a lot of this off because they had a huge challenge, you know, with the course changes and trying to make it all happen. So, you know, if it was the one mistake they made, you know, it's one mistake out of a huge, I mean, it was, you know, obviously you guys
had to adapt to so many things with the rain. Like,
dude, and you guys probably talked to Erica just as much as we did, but the amount of work that she put in and the amount of skill that she possesses, like that in itself took her 2 weeks, 3 weeks, like so much, and she had to change everything the last day. It's like you couldn't have been put in a crazier position, right? So for all you racers to have the ability to have that ease, like I thank them for being able to give that ability to you guys. Like that's pretty insane, and just as an overall.
I talked to Jim last night. Actually, he was so bummed that went down that way. You know, he's a vision wheel athlete like us, and he after that all happened, him and Brittany were like talking to the car going, oh my God, Jamie's going to be pissed and all this stuff. And then we passed him like that pass that Darren's talking about. And then we pit. Well, he went by us in the pit and I'm like, oh my God, we got to go do this again. So it was just like, and then we ended up getting the double flat. I probably should have been more patient. I got double flat and we drove 30 miles to Mina on a front flat. We just had
that was probably the right move though.
What's that?
Driving like what he did.
Yeah.
Oh, what else was gonna do? We kept trying to find a broken Can-Am because they have the same lug pattern, but nobody was broken down. You know, we were. It sucked, but we managed it. I think we lost probably an hour, just driving slow and trying not to abuse the car and get it to the next pit. I thought the tire was gonna come apart. I mean, dude, I'll send you guys pictures. The Vision wheel, the GV8, it looks perfect. I mean, we were clobbering rocks with the rim. The Yokohama tire stayed. It lasted. It didn't come apart. So, I mean, it was amazing, you know. And then, you know, just having guys like Chuck Cheek at CMI Precision making a lot of my components that just hold up. And, I mean, dude, Chuck's the man when it comes to some of this stuff. And I put full confidence in guys like him. And you know, so it's just this Honda Talon, how stock it actually is amazing. So Darren was even talking about it. He's like, man, I got to save my money and buy one, you know? So
we were literally driving, hitting rocks on the flat and stuff. And I told Jamie, no matter what happens today, I'm still buying a Talon.
Nice. Yeah.
Brad.
I believe with the right people behind them, they're superior.
So something new to this thing, George, was, you know, we installed a Jackson Racing turbo on my car.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so we've been pretty competitive in the Trophy Unlimited class the last couple races, but we're driving the car so hard to keep up and stuff. And so Jackson's approached me. They say, "Hey, we want to do this with you." They've been working on like a more of a race kit. It's more open, it makes more fun. Single issue with that kit. We worked with them on some other stuff as far as mounting the intercooler and some other stuff, and we did have a air filter that got clogged on Ricky, and we lost some boost, so he had to go slow for a little bit before he got to the pit. But all in all, I got to thank those guys. I mean, the car is so much funner now. It just pulls in the washes. It goes, and we're gonna keep working on that and making improvements and get better with that too. So Oscar and I have already been talking today, and over the weekend after we got home, we're texting each other back and forth. Okay, what's the next step? And so super amazing that those guys are doing this with us. One other thing, Performance Machine. If you guys don't know who these guys are, a lot of Harley brake components and stuff, but they made a brake kit for us for the Honda Talon, and again, it's amazing. We could drive into corners so much harder, and like this pass on Jim and stuff. There's no way I could have done it without those brakes on the car.
Yeah, it's cool to see. Like, we were talking about this a little bit with when Bryce Menzies was on, but like I guess the forward evolution, of the side by sides. One thing that I remember talking to Travis Zollinger a bit about before we had him on the show that I really wanted to mention, and sorry, Travis, we're talking about it a little late, but the average speed when Travis won Vegas to Reno, I think it was a couple years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, when UTV was like 30-something, and this year's average speed that he was over 50.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's wild, dude, because that's almost, well, let's just simplify it. That's almost double, right? Like, that's insane.
4 or 5 years.
Oh, it's evolving huge. I mean, I would say the biggest ity that we have with the UTVs now is I think tire size has to evolve just like the trucks have, because the crowns from the 40-inch tires are so big that we have to ride up on the edges, which gets sketchy sometimes if the car wants to step out or something, and they just dig up so many big rocks and stuff, and it's like these organizations, I mean, everything's getting bigger with the Pro R and all this stuff. So it's like, the Trophy Unlimited class allows 35s. I'm proud to say Yokohama is actually working on a 35-inch tire for us. So, and Matlocks, I think. So that's going to be,
dude, at KOH next year, they're going to run Maxxis 37s, dude.
Yeah. And I know, Tensor has a 37 on a 15-inch wheel. I mean, it's got to happen, because just like with the evolution with the trophy truck tire and class ones running big tires, we're killing the bottom of our cars because we don't have a big enough tire.
We're going to talk to Max Eddy a little bit about killing the bottom of the car too, because he had the same issue, man.
Yeah.
But okay, so give us a little bit of your highlight, Jamie, because Darren kind of told you what his was. Maybe something a little bit different than that pass.
My highlight was, we really went into that event as a durability test for the turbo, and to try to evolve that. There was issues in the past with that kit with another team, and we really wanted to prove that it's reliable and in the right conditions it could do well. And Ricky said we were running in the top whatever, but when you do look at how much time we lost due to the 2 tire flats and the air filter, we were in the top 5. So in that class, so the Talon's competitive. People didn't think it would be, but we're making it competitive. So
it's wild, and the amount of work. Like, you're being humble when you're talking about it, but Darren, this as far as a racer's perspective goes, the amount of work that it takes to get to that point is pretty insane.
Yeah, I mean, this is my first time ever co-riding for anyone, so it was like a little strange for me. I made some weird calls, but Jamie thoroughly impressed me with the Honda. That's why I'm so confident, because he was just like, compared to any other UTV I've ridden in, he was able to set it in. Like, it was consistent, and what was the word I used? Conservative. Something that's not bound to go out and break a whole bunch of things. It'll break if you drive it too hard, but if you drive it like you should drive a UTV, it's so fast.
Yeah, so one of the things that I like about UTVs in general is that they're predictable, right? Like as long as you know and you have comfort in what you're driving, that they can become predictable like that. And I know that that platform has a lot of those capabilities. All right, we got to get Bo Judge and Phil Blurton on here in just a little bit. You guys got anything you want to say before we let you guys both go?
I just want to thank Darren for riding with me and doing such a great job, and Ricky and Andrew hanging in there. And it's funny because those guys come from factory teams. I mean, I raced for a factory team back in the 90s, but, it was cool to have all that talent, like you were saying, all that talent. Darren being 3-time pro buggy champion, Ricky winning Dakar and just being a badass motorcycle racer, Andrew racing pro motocross and supercross. I mean, it was just a cool.
Looks like his internet bailed out a little bit, but that's what I was talking about, Mila.
I didn't even care if we won. I just wanted it. And our crew and all of our sponsors that I didn't mention, they just, I wouldn't be doing it without all them. So, it's huge to have these guys on my side and So,
but I love the fact that you're doing that, Jamie, because like we talked to Bryce Menzies about growing the sport. He's helping with the media stuff. He's giving a behind the scenes perspective. Like he's opening up his race program, but you're also doing it, a different way, but you're giving the opportunity for some of these mainstream motocross guys and sharing the audience and being able to pull in new people. So, and I think that's what all three of us or all four of us here and everybody that's come on the show, like we want to grow.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it needs to happen, like, Elliot has some crazy ideas and I want to do some of them. It's so hard to do. I'm trying to run a business. We're racing, making products, making apparel, all this stuff. So it's obviously my awesome wife helps me with all this and it's like, we're this cool team, but, it's going to keep building and I can't wait to go to Sandsport show. We're going to have a cool setup there and show more products and, we got our website up last month, which was huge.
That'll be pretty cool. Oh, hey, I do want to give Jen a shout out though. That shirt, I don't know who designed it, but the shirt with the Mexican guy on the back with that says Raceco on the front, dude. I can't tell you how many the Baracho or whatever. Yeah. I can't tell you how many compliments I get on that shirt, dude. Like so. If people want to get it, I think they can go to the Raceco USA website. But that shirt is badass.
Yep.
All right. Looks like the internet might be bailing out a little bit for these guys. You back?
Right on. We're here.
All right.
Oh, there we go.
So thanks, boys. I appreciate it. You got anything else, or we just let you go?
That's it, man. I just appreciate you guys having us on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you guys for having me on this show.
All right. Thanks, Darren. Thanks. Thanks, Jamie. We'll see you guys later.
Thanks. See you soon.
Man. See, I love the way that the community like bands together like that, like because they're saying the same exact things that we do.
I don't know how to turn this off, George.
Click it and then hit the X up at the top.
Okay.
We got to get Jen over here. Your technology genius, right? But it's the same thing that we always talk about, right? Is that everybody wants to grow the sport.
Yeah.
So, talking about growing the sport, these guys are always doing it, pushing side-by-side racing. We're going to get Phil Blurton on here, and then we have Bo Judge on with us now. What's up, dude?
These two.
Oh, there we go. Phil's on with us now. What's up, Phil? How are you?
Good. How are you?
These two are pushing the envelope. I chased these guys for 2 years in the UTV when I was crewing for Serapis.
Yep.
These guys are pushing the UTV market right now. I'll tell you that.
So, first of all, congratulations, boys. You guys had a new car. It took a little bit to get some of the bugs worked out. I saw you guys at Tech and Contingency and obviously qualifying. And I don't know if you guys were like stressed out or not, but it looked like you were calm, cool, and collected, just getting things going with the car.
Yeah, it was a brand new car, so we just this car's a little bit lighter than what we normally run. So we had a good shock package for Silver State, but we just didn't have a good shock package yet. For a little bit rougher. So we brought I don't know, what did we bring, Bo? 12 sets of shocks, and I think we tried every single set of them. And finally, the last set we put on, we're like, "Yep, this is the one we're going to race with." And I think that was about right when you showed up. So We were stressed until about that moment, and then everything was good from there.
It didn't take that long to work. It was I think we only had 10 miles on the car before the start of the race, so it wasn't that long.
Wow.
Dude, isn't that the way it always works, though? It doesn't matter how many hours you put in. It's just going to always be that last minute. But I don't know. Like your team name or your fab shop says, no limit, man. You just keep going and going and going.
Yep.
All right, so let's go over a little bit of how the race went. So where did you guys qualify?
We were first in Pro Turbo, so that put us third off the line.
Okay, so that was actually a pretty good starting position. Is that where you guys wanted to be, or did you guys want to be chasing a little bit more?
No, we wanted to be very first. We wanted to be first overall, but we settled for that. I don't know. I'd always rather be the first one off the line if possible.
Yeah, so that way you can make your own way. What was some of the stuff that happened during the race that was pretty eventful, Bo?
I mean, for sure, we've never done the whole changeover thing where we got to load on a trailer and do all that stuff. I mean, that was pretty, wasn't like 100% sure on how all that was going to go down, but it actually, with Best in the Desert, I really think they did a good job, and it actually went fairly smoothly. I mean, we noticed we had like a little issue once the car was on the trailer, so we decided to once the green flag dropped, I just kind of rode up in the seat real quick, and once the green flag dropped, we just pulled over real quick and made the adjustment, and I got back in the car before Vito could even take off and pass us. So we just thought it was going to be a better decision than trying to make it out to the next pit. And but yeah, other than that, I mean, we had a pretty good battle with Joe. You know, that was pretty fun. We've never battled with him, so when we caught up to the back of him, weren't 100% sure how it was going to go down, but they were actually pretty nice and moved over and let us go by before we had to bump them. But other than that, we just pretty much after that got out front and we're just kind of by ourselves the rest of the day.
No dust?
A little bit. We caught a couple slower cars, but when you catch the slower cars, it just seems like we get by them pretty quick. But there was one at the end. I think we lost, 3 minutes to Vito when we were leaving Top Gun to pit 12. The sun was coming down and it was right in, like, I kept asking Phil, can you see? Because I can't see anything.
It's the hardest there when you cross the highway and it's always dusty right there and you're looking right at the sun.
Oh, because it was at the evening time?
At Top Gun. It's always, right there at the evening.
Right after Top Gun, they told us we had 3 minutes 30 on Vito, and then it was like, we caught that 4,400 and there was nothing. I mean, the sun was just right in our eyes. And I honestly would say that to date, that was the most nervous I ever been with Phil in the car, just going, I couldn't believe that some of the stuff we were driving through. I was just like, I just said, screw it. I'm not even going to look where we're going. I was just going to watch the GPS and give the best direction I could give. And we went for it, but it just didn't work out. By the time we caught him, we had lost that whole by the time Weeks is 12, pit 12?
Yeah.
When we got there, we had a race 3 minutes and Vito was only 30 seconds behind us at that point.
Dude, that's wild. How did it feel driving into that, Bo? Or excuse me, Phil? Oh, we can't hear Phil. Yeah. Phil, maybe get a little bit closer to the phone. I can't hear you. Dude, is it pretty gnarly driving through that though? I want to hear what Phil has to say.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better. We got a better connection. So how was it driving in that stuff, Phil? I don't know if you could hear Bo.
Pretty gnarly. We have sun visors that flip down, but it's like that sun was literally like perfectly right in our eyes. And I'm trying to like split the steering wheel, split the sun visor. Bo's going, can you see? Because I can't see. I'm telling him, yeah, I can see, but I couldn't see crap the whole time.
just holding it to the.
What he was telling me.
What's the move then? You just hold it to the floor and just hope for the best.
You gotta trust your co-dog.
It was that. I mean, what do you say, Bo? That was like a pretty fresh cut section, so it's kind of like silty ruts the whole time. So the car was just kind of like roller coastering through there.
Oh yeah, because the car feels all wishy washy, huh?
Yeah, you're just kind of bouncing from side to side and staying inside there and watching the bushes fly by on the sides. But, I mean, we weren't taking. Yeah, we didn't take any crazy chances in there, but definitely it's frustrating at the end of the race, and all of a sudden you're like somebody that's not in your class you're battling against, and the rest, it feels like the whole rest of the world's catching up to you.
Yeah, that's true, right? Because there's so many other people on the track. Actually, that kind of brings up the same point that we were talking about with Jamie Campbell and Travis Zollinger, who brought it up off air with me. The pace that you guys run now compared to what it was 2 or 3 years ago, 4 years ago, like that pace has gotten significantly faster, like maybe even 33% faster. Can you guys tell that, or do you guys even notice it now?
No, it's definitely. I mean, don't you think, Bo, from when we very first started, when we first raced Vegas to Reno, we won. I mean, we kind of just babied it all day, and then say this race, maybe the first 200 miles we kind of took it easy, and then the last section we just kind of went hard the whole entire time.
Yeah, for me, I feel like all Best in the Desert races now are just a long works race. I mean, you're pushing it hard. I mean, maybe I don't know if you guys follow too much, but I mean, you'll notice like Phil and I we could in the first 100, maybe 200 miles fall back to as far back as 7th place, and they're, you know, everyone, his dad, everyone's like, what's wrong with you guys? What's wrong? You know, something's going on, but it happens every time. And then right about race mile 300, it kind of seems like everyone starts falling off, and next, you know, we're in the lead again, and it just kind of, that's how it kind of always seems to go down all the time. But the pace in Best in the Desert now is so fast. I mean, you pretty much, you have any one problem, even a flat or what, I mean, you're just like us. I mean, the last 50 miles, we got a flat, we got second. We were in, you know what I'm saying? It's just, you can't even get a flat anymore. And it's, you're getting second or third.
Yeah, it is wild, right? And to like to think about it, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was I was telling Mila, like at the beginning of the show, Can-Am has secured 7 of the top 10 spots overall in the UTV category at Vegas to Reno this year, and that means that Can-Am has been the winner of this race for 7 years in a row. That's insane, dude. And you guys are a huge part of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, like those stats are crazy, right?
Yeah. I think the Can-Ams work really good in the heat. You know, I think the Can-Ams have a little advantage on belt temps and also keeping the engines cool. So I think, you know, platform to platform, we can run a little.
Yeah. When how was it like?
Harder, and especially those high temps.
How was it like?
We go to like Laughlin and it's cooler.
How was it in the heat? Like, how was it for you guys in the car?
I mean, like body temperature wise, I was fine. I mean, yeah, I didn't feel like physically drained at all.
Seemed fine to me.
Definitely. I mean, yeah, we still had to watch belt temps and stuff. Engine temps were totally fine the whole entire day. I mean, you're definitely consuming more water than you are. Like most races we'll go, I won't even touch my Camelback. That one, I think we're draining them. Bo, unfortunately, his decided to pump itself out in the seat, so he was in a wet seat.
Oh, bummer, dude.
It sucked. I had the next day, it was like I had a diaper rash around my whole stomach. I was just soaking wet for like 8 hours. But
was it water or was it like some sort of drink?
No, it was just water. But this is one of the first times too that I feel like in a long, like Phil and I, we didn't eat one single time. Usually I'm passing food and stuff, and we did not eat the entire time. Like it was a fast pace the entire time, and we weren't even thinking about food or anything. We were just penning the whole time.
Dude, that is kind of crazy, man.
We fought a little bit of voltage issues, so we turned off the pumper. We ran the whole day with our visors cracked and no pumper, so that kind of sucked.
Oh, really?
Wow.
But so we were cycling fans on and off to try to keep the battery voltage where we needed it, because you know the car drops in the 10 volt range, it starts pulling power out of it. So,
dude, yeah.
And somehow this new car, the way we ran the vent tube, it's the same way I ran it on the previous car, but somehow it's like the vapors are lighting on that thing. So every time we went in the fuel stop, that thing went into a fireball from the vapors.
Really?
First time I unbuckled because the flames like shot up between my legs. And the next time we just like expected it, and it was like every time we fueled it, the vapors just boof, big old fireball.
Dude,
we'll definitely be rerouting that, but first one was a little scary.
It's big too. It's not just a little one. Like literally the whole inside of the cab was filled up with fire, where I was starting to get out, and then right away the flames went out, and then we take off, and I'm driving from the passenger seat so Phil could buckle back in. So we're smashing out of, what was it, pit 4 or 5? I think it was 5, right?
I think so.
Maybe it was 6. I don't know. But I'm driving from the passenger seat while he's buckling back in.
Yeah, I'm like, I unbuckled. I was getting out for the flames. You got to grab the wheel. But
dude, that's the worst.
Racing, I'm trying to buckle in and steer.
Dude, fire's the scariest.
Yeah, it's so scary, man. I'm usually the first person to get out. Like, I'm just bailing out of there. Hey, so, well, first of all, like, you guys did a fantastic job. Did you guys have your family at the races? Any of the kiddos there, or did you see them when you got back home?
Just my wife and Bo's girlfriend came up to the finish line. My mom came up to the finish line. My kids are little, so they stayed home. They're not going to be out at the finish line that late, so they stayed with my sister-in-law. But the rest of the family, my sister and brother-in-law, and everybody came up to the finish.
I was just asking because I knew that Can-Am has come out with those little ATV quads that they got with the fuel injection. I was wondering if the kiddos are already chomping at the bit to get one of those bad boys.
I don't think they've seen them yet.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to get you in trouble, dude. Now you're going to have to tell if the kids heard about it.
Yeah.
Those things look super cool, though. Plus, Dad doesn't have to work on them because if they have fuel injection, they just go.
No carb.
Yep.
All right.
That's the one race where we finish, all of our races are 10 hours away. So it's the one race where we finish an hour and a half away from home. So we do get quite a bit of family and friends and stuff that come up and see us and hang out after the race.
That's cool.
It's pretty rad, right? Bo, maybe you could tell us when you're going to be up at the shop with Phil, because I'd love to come up there and hang out with you guys. Maybe we could do a show from the shop too.
We're at each other's shop for 3 to 4 times a week, so anytime.
Perfect then. All right. Well, I definitely want to get up there and do that. That's pretty cool. Maybe I could get out of some of this summer heat down here in Southern California and come hang with you guys.
Yeah,
we're going to be miserable this whole week. We're like 105 all week up here.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not doing this week then.
Yeah, no.
Well, so all right, give us
a couple months.
Yeah, exactly. We got Nick Isenhouer is going to come on the show in just a bit here. So tell us what your favorite portion of the race is, and we'll let you guys get back to the family. Oh, and the internet just starts cutting out a little bit, right? Never fails. What was your favorite part?
My favorite part. I guess my favorite part of the whole race is just I like the longer races. I feel like the longer we have it, our team is so good. We've got so many good people there helping us, and I feel like the longer the race is, the more advantage, the advantage that we have over the competition. I mean, Phil does an amazing job too, even in the shorter races like Laughlin and stuff like that too. But just it's so tight there where Vegas to Reno kind of starts stretching out, and it's like you get there where you're just battling with like possibly 3 guys. But yeah, I for surely I like the longer races, like the 1,000 stuff like that. But I that's what I like the most. I think the longer the better, and you're always in that Can-Am for a long time, and that's fun. So
yeah, what about you, Phil? What would actually, let's change it up a little bit. What was your favorite portion of the course this year?
I don't know. I always kind of like the end section, going through that whole Fallon area, and then like the Rocky section at the end. That Fallon race course, if I got there at this race, I'm like, hey, Bo, this is where it all started. Like, I literally met Bo at the powder coat shop. We didn't know each other, and I was like, hey, will you come race a Vora race with me? And that was like the first time we ever hung out was on that Fallon course. He co-drove. So we get back on that section, and it's like going through those big, I don't know if you've been there, but the big giant rollers in the Fallon part. Like, that was mine and Bo's first race together, so it's fun to go back there.
Nice, dude.
It's fun too when you make the left, like off of that and head in the sand wash section too. It's like really, really like sandy and real sweeping turns, and that's always pretty fun too. It's a belt killer, but it's super fun to be in there.
Yeah, that's cool that it brings back those memories for the guys. All right, boys. Well, thank you very much. We're going to get Nick Isenhouer on. You guys kicked ass this year, and I'm glad to see that you guys made it up there and helped Can-Am get 7 of those 10 spots.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right, boys. We'll see you guys later. All right, let's get Nick Isenhouer on here and have some fun. We'll start talking some 6100 here. What do you think?
Yeah, man.
All right. There he is. So, I don't know, man. Like, whenever I start thinking about how fast the UTVs go, it just gets me so excited. All right, Nick Isenhouer, what up, homie? How are you?
There he is.
I'm good. I'm very good.
Hey, smiling now.
Yeah. Sorry. Trying to turn the phone. I'm hiding out in my car. I got the kids at the grandparents' house, so I can get a little quiet time to talk to you guys.
I know how that is.
Well, thanks for hanging out and waiting on us a little bit. These shows, dude, they get crazy sometimes, so we appreciate you being flexible. All right, so give us a little bit of a rundown. You put a lot of work into this 6100 truck, obviously all the time, but before Vegas to Reno, and dude, it looked like it was doing pretty good for most portion of the race.
Well, he was a little stressed out when I saw him at qualifying. He didn't really have time to talk. It looked like he was really in his head a little bit.
So obviously leading up to Vegas to Reno, we took the whole truck down to like a bare chassis and powder coated every piece and part of the car because I'm just tired. Obviously, we do all this after work. We do it in our shop. So any time savings we can make, we do. So powder coating the car cuts down on all the sanding and all that stuff and all the Scotch brighting and WD-40. So we decided to do that, put the car together. It took us, like 2 months or so to get the car together. Went down to Placer City, ran our normal test loop. Everything was perfectly fine. No issues, high-fiving each other the whole week leading up. We ran from the hotel parking lot over to the Buffalo Bills parking lot on qualifying morning, and the truck just wasn't running, like popping and sputtering like it was down a cylinder.
It never fails, dude. Like, I don't understand how it literally just happened before the show for us. Like, technology tested it 169 times and like everything's good, right? And then all of a sudden.
Well, and here's the worst part, because I saw Nick running it up and down, and I wanted to go talk to him. But here's the worst part: is now you're showing your cards to everybody in qualifying.
Yeah,
you're like, I
it's
have a
on
problem.
center stage.
I just put my truck together. Even I don't know, it seemed to clear out, but it's like,
So we sat there in the parking lot. We went there a little early, so we had like 2 hours. So we sat there, and I went through all the plug wires, all the plugs, all the electrical, all the literally everything. Went through the whole truck, and we ended up swapping out the ECMs, thinking that maybe that was the issue. So we went from like one of our more hot ECM we use for qualifying to a normal one. And it just, I don't know, it seemed to clear up a little bit on the asphalt road. But then luck would have it, I pull up to staging. We did the parade lap, ran all right. Then I'm sitting there next to Sam Barry, kind of loading the truck up, doing a little brake gas at the same time. And it's like, whoa, dun, 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 dun. I'm like,
dang it.
Great.
There it is.
And so I let all that get into my head. I got the jump on Sam, but I threw 2 corners away, just thinking too much, just didn't have the confidence. So I was kind of setting up early, just trying to be prepared for the throttle not to hit.
Yep.
And they just kind of, we ended up staying in front of Sam for qualifying, but we landed in like 16th or something miserable like that.
Yeah.
But
I saw you get out of the truck. I'm like, I'm not even going to go over there.
So how temperamental are those trucks then?
The 6100s? Yeah. Usually you just fire them up and go. They're like going to the store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's some, we still haven't figured it out because even after qualifying, Justin Bean Smith was, nice enough to let us use his shop for a couple hours. And we dove so deep into that car, like went through every ground, added redundant grounds, went through all the electrical, never found like the smoking gun. But we did like all 100 things that everybody suggested. Like we replaced the pressure regulators, the filters, like I said, all the grounds, all the everything. And then, by the time Justin came back with Graf from qualifying, we went and ripped the truck around the parking lot or at Bean's neighborhood, and it seemed to run okay. So we threw it on the trailer and headed our way up to Beatty.
Dude,
so
it's like somebody sprinkles like sucky fairy dust on your car, and then it just wears its way off, dude.
Sucks too, because like he said, 2 months he's like thrashing to get it going, everything's
it's
great,
fine.
and then all of a sudden,
and it's not like they changed anything from when they did get the mint and stuff either. Like it's like all like it's so crazy to me when that stuff happens. But all right, so let's talk a little bit more about some positive stuff that happened during the race. Like, I mean, dude, that video that you posted online, sending it next to the fence, how sick was that?
So that was my brother, actually. I let Chris drive. I didn't let him. Chris drove the second half of the race. That was the plan from the beginning. But yeah, so I ran the start to pit 8, and luckily we decided to do it there because we actually broke an axle 10 miles outside of pit 8, which is kind of wild for a 6100 truck to do that. But broke that axle. Our crew, like, bunch of good friends, like nobody's paid or anything, it's all volunteered fun time. These guys knocked out swapping both axles, tires, fuel in like 8 or 9 minutes. Like one time, by the time
that's wild.
Yeah, it was wild. These guys, I had 3 dudes on the driver's side, 3 dudes on the passenger side, and they were just working like super fast. Got a bunch of pros in there. So we lost a couple spots there in the pits. But after that, like my brother was like on a sick one. Like we were all watching the tracker and it was like never below like 85 miles an hour. I was like, oh my gosh, he is making up some time. So he was the one that, and I guarantee you, any cool video clip you get from this race, it's going to be Chris driving for sure. Dude, he was just on fire catching everybody. So
that's fun though when he's in the zone like that. We were just talking about it with the other guys too, like how much the pace has increased in all the classes, I guess you could say, right? Like you got to be pretty much full wood like your brother and you were during this race.
Oh yeah, that's the scary thing. So everybody talks about 6100. It's like a bigger, heavier version of 1600. Because nowadays, like, I literally use the throttle stop as a footrest in those trucks. And you just kind of trail brake like you're at like the family fun center.
That's exactly what I say.
We got a pretty awesome comment that came in from Tyler A.K. Stinky. He said, unfortunately, you're going to need to run bigger axles with a mustache like that.
That's true. That's true. I thought I had the biggest ones I could buy, but I'm going to have to hit up those monster truck dudes, I guess, and see what they're running.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I guess one of the issues we had too during the day, and I don't know if any of the other like 6100 guys can chime in or trophy truck guys, but it felt like that first half of that race course was just wet. And so like all the dirt down low was just making so much traction and just slowing the truck down. So it just felt like we were just towing a boat all the way, my whole section. And so the whole time I'm in the truck with my buddy Keith Marigold, we're just like, there's something wrong with this thing. It's got to have down a cylinder. The converter's wrong. Something's broken. So when we swapped seats, I gave the truck to my brother. I'm like, hey, Chris, just, be prepared. This thing isn't running perfect. And then I see him at the finish. He's like, I don't know what's wrong with you. This is the fastest truck I've ever driven. This thing is perfect. And I'm like, man, maybe it was all in my head. And then the more guys I start talking to, they're like, oh, yeah, first half, like the dirt was wet on the bottom. So you'd be digging. Then as soon as the converter would lock up, it'd break loose, and it'd feel like the converter was upside down.
Yeah.
Nick right here saying the same thing. But yeah, it was just total mind games there.
Dude, yeah, that is kind of crazy. Like, you never really think about it, right? And like off-road, we always think about, the cars are getting wild out there. But like, there's a big difference between 1,100 horsepower and then a spec truck horsepower, and then a UTV that has 4 wheels driving instead of 2 wheels driving. There's all kinds of different things that I love hearing these little idiosyncrasies, because this makes what off-road what it actually is, because there's so many different little things, right?
100%.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was rough, man, and it made like cornering was tough, because like, we like our truck's a pretty low slung truck. It's got the weight balanced pretty well, and you can really slide that thing around. And so I'd be like the first couple miles, I'd go to set up for corners, and the truck would just make traction and go that direction. Like it wouldn't slide into the corner. And so the game kind of changed a little bit from, kind of rallying the roads to more like just driving in the 2-track and just trying to be as fast in and fast out, and trying to use, we only have 3 speeds in the truck. So just using all 3 of those gears to their potential. When you could to try and save fuel and stuff.
Yeah. When you hear him talk like that, Mila, what do you think about, like, because in my mind, I think that has a lot of prowess to the driver. You give a lot of credit to the driver to be able to feel and understand what you're doing at that exact moment.
And to be able to adjust.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So you're used to,
just knowing first.
Right, knowing what the car is doing. A lot of times guys will test with a half a tank of gas and 2 tires, right? Or maybe 5/8. And then a lot of guys, for qualifying, they'll pull all the tires and the jacks, and they'll run like low fuel, and then the truck is totally different, and they don't do qualifying because they don't test that way. So to be able to decipher what the truck is doing and go, okay, I have to drive it a little different, that's going to make you go to the front, 100%.
It's crazy.
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you guys?
That is pretty smooth.
Do you guys have like I don't know what you want to call it, because like to me, like when you're going through a race like this, you have to make so many split decisions, like in the middle of the race, like change up your whole plan or whatever it is that you guys are doing. Do you guys have a pretty set plan, or is it just like, hey, we've been doing this for a while, we're just gonna go with it?
Yeah, it's kind of both. I'd like to say we're really professional and we have big plans, but we wing a lot of it, like kind of on the fly. For this race specifically, we had 2 plans. So our fuel strategy, our truck it pumps out almost 100 gallons of fuel. So we can go pretty far with the truck, and it gets okay mileage. So we had planned to take fuel at pit 4 at the transport section. And then Chris was out of the truck, so it was up to him to do all the math. So he did the fuel math, and that's when I was saying, luckily we pitted at 8 instead of 9, because it was basically, we could have taken fuel at 9 and gone straight to the finish. And so that was changing. So luckily we had that transport section to communicate. So Chris just called me on the phone. He's like, hey, you've got fuel to run to 9 if you want and take it straight to the finish, or we stick to our plan. And luckily we stuck to our plan, because 10 miles out of 8, we broke that axle, and those dudes were all there ready to do a full pit. So
what are the odds?
I'm really
of that?
glad we stuck to the original.
I mean, you don't really hear that too often.
Dude, it is wild,
Not
right?
6100 at least.
Yeah,
we're going to find out what's going on with that. We're going to dig into that. There's got to be some sort of material issue or something. I don't think it's anything too crazy.
Yeah.
But
sometimes it's just a bad batch of heat treat. Every now and again, you'll get like 4 dudes, they'll break axles and be like, oh, we just had a bad heat treat. It's really crazy.
Yeah.
Dude,
it's a risk you take.
I actually have a funny story, because I'm not a big trophy truck guy or even a spec truck guy, but I got to do a tour with the Geyser brothers, and Rick was showing me around, or excuse me, Jeff was showing me around his and Rick's shop, and like they showed me that he's like, here's a trophy truck axle, and I went to just like go pick it up. And I was like,
oh no.
I was like, dude, no, like, and I was like, how thick is that? He's like, it's about 2 inches thick, and it's almost solid steel, right? And I went to pick it up, and I couldn't pick it up physically. And I'm not like that weak, but I couldn't pick it up with one arm.
It's a 2-hand deal.
Yeah, like, and even with 2 hands, it's a full 2-hand curl to pick up one of those axles. So when you guys talk about it, I don't know if the normal audience can be like, dude, that is a really hefty task to rip one of those.
It's fun to pull out the driver's side and then get all the grease off it, and then try and pick it up and put it in like a barrel without hurting the splines and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, because it'll slip.
Yeah, because it's just covered in gear oil. It's pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's so wild.
Yeah, you gotta think that axle's probably the size of that Motul can right behind you. That's like the diameter of it, roughly.
Yeah, it's so crazy, right? That it's that big. Yeah. I was looking at those things going, oh my God. Like when these guys talk about breaking an axle, that's some serious driving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Like, this is a topic for a whole other conversation, but like the 6100 trucks, they were supposed to be an affordable, small horsepower way of going racing, but literally that's a full trophy truck with a little motor in it. And it's cool, it's great, it's awesome, but man, is it a lot to take care of and to prep and all that.
Well, dude, just on a side note,
we should have a little 6100 show.
You should. It's a big class.
That's
I mean, there was more classes there was more specs than trophies. But Chris and Nick,
how many were there? Do you know?
Well, the 26
29.
finished.
29 of them.
Chris,
29 qualified,
and Nick do so much with. I don't know how little, but I'm just going to say with little because you guys hustle, and I respect that so much.
Oh, the work ethic is what gets it.
This is what these guys do is just grind to go race, and that is so respectful.
Yeah, but that shows us what you can do. It's a little bit of elbow grease.
Dude, these guys do it.
Yeah.
Hey, so
well, dude, that's why I tell everybody, like, if you want to do something bad enough, just work to get there. Like, you got it. It's all doable. It's just it's in pieces and time, and it's just energy. Go work for a team. Figure it all out. Figure out the little nooks and crannies of how to put a car together. Start putting your own car together. It's not. I mean, Mila. It's not rocket science. It's just nuts and bolts.
Well,
you just got to put them together the right way.
Yeah, and I bet you learned a little bit when you were racing with
We did Camber and Grove, yeah.
Yeah, you just pick up a little here, pick up a little there, and just kind of put it together. And then when you get mad at your truck, you just go drift your 240.
Or just kick it. You kick the side of the truck as hard as you can.
Yeah.
Hey, so both of you guys are talking about it on a pretty humble level, but you guys have to understand, too, that a lot of the people that listen to the show or we get direct messages from, they haven't raced before. They're beginners and getting into the side-by-side world. I have a bunch of people that direct message me that they don't even know where to get a seat. You know what I mean? Like, they don't know where to go purchase it and stuff. So a lot of the stuff that you guys are talking about really could resonate with everybody. Like, you start in the garage, you start tinkering with stuff, and then you work your way up. And then, you didn't start yesterday. This is years and years down the road that you've got all this experience, right? So I think it's really cool that you're able to shed some light on this to show them that it is achievable.
Yeah, absolutely. Like for us, I remember being like 13 years old, I guess, and like being on the internet and looking at Desert Rangers and Race Desert and just absorbing everything I could and like going through all the build features and just screenshotting it, or right click save, set as desktop background,
dude,
like all that.
Yeah.
How many times have we all done that?
I still do it.
Yeah. That's it. Like, you go in the forums and just ask the dumb questions and just learn so much from that. I mean, that's like, like I said, a topic for another conversation, but like, that's what got us started. Like this whole thing for us started as just an F100 that turned into a race car from the internet. Thanks a lot.
Well, it's funny because the first time I ever saw you, we never met or anything, but it was down at MDR. You were racing the original Brodozer. It was white. It said Brodozer on the side. I was in a class 1 with Ryan Thomas, and you won your class. And I was like, who is this guy with this garage-built truck? I mean, that's exactly where you started.
Hey, so we're talking about like doing stuff in the garage. We're gonna let you go, Nick, but we got Chris Kiefner on with us from Phoenix, Arizona, and I don't know if you saw, but Chris drove a 250R three-wheeler to the finish line.
Dude,
that's
pretty rowdy.
What's up, Chris? How are you?
Nick, stay humble.
All right, talk to you guys later.
Later, homie. Dude, so Chris, man, I've been looking forward to having this conversation with you. We've been having a lot of fun talking about Vegas to Reno. But one of the things that some people may have seen, may not have seen, maybe it's gone viral, I don't know. You drove a 250R three-wheeler across the finish line, homie.
Absolutely, yeah, we did. There's an 86 250R. It's Lyle's bike. We were the only original bike there. The rest of them were trike conversions.
Dude.
They're all like, they had newer 450 motors and custom frames. And
Yep.
Don't get me wrong, they're really badass, but for the originality of it, we were the only one that was still like a tried and true three-wheeler.
Old school in it.
Dude, I saw all these videos and stuff. I could not believe, dude, how rad it was to see him out there. Like, to me, just thinking about, we just been talking about the Can-Am fuel-injected, ATVs and stuff that they have come out with. This is a carbureted piece of equipment from, what year is it, 1986 or something?
83?
1986, yeah.
86.
Dude,
Yes,
that is so wild. How was it on your back?
Not bad. I mean, Lyle's got that thing dialed. The suspension, the seat on it are pretty much set up like it. we just did the Nora 1000 a few, like 2-3 months ago.
Wow.
Prior to this race, on that same bike, same cylinder and everything. We actually had the cylinder built down in Rio Negro. They blew up 3 top ends during the race. So the guy who built it, Emilio, got it dialed. Like within 2,000ths of an inch. The thing is perfect. So
dude,
we finish the race. We go to Vegas Reno, and she fires up first kick, and
that's right.
Yeah, ran it.
Dude, it is so wild. I can let some people hear it on the microphone right here. That, dude, that sound is just the best sound on the planet, man. Yeah. Like, dude, it's probably so like ingrained in your head, like just hearing that wind of the 2-stroke for the, what was it, 400 something miles?
Well, and the smell, just the smell.
Yeah, and he's running the castor oil, so it smells like the original 2-stroke.
927 with some VP in there. Oh,
yeah.
Dude, I remember as a kid growing up with that.
The biggest Reno course was just like wide open, you know, and like for that 3-wheeler, I just had that thing pegged. I think Nick Tonelli or Lyle Tonelli were telling me that I hit like 75 or 79. I mean, I had that thing 6-gear wide open, just
that's rad.
Pegged.
That's rad.
It was a great time.
The reliability of the old trike, dude. The death machine.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, we had some issues. Lyle, early on in the race, he hit a rock and cracked the water pump case, like the cover on it. So he came into pit 3. They changed that. It cost us some time. Julian got on the bike. He brought it to me at pit 8. Well, by that point, he broke off the rear rack and nailed a rock, and it crunched the exhaust pipe. Like, literally just beer canned it. It had a hole in it. It was completely crinkled. He's like, dude, it's losing power. So we're sitting at pit 8. We're like, I don't want to get on it. The trophy trucks are coming. Menzies and all of them are coming. And we ended up taking the pipe off, grinding it out the dented part, and went down to DFR. Chad Dorman and them helped us weld it up. We had a piece of steel, just hammered it on there, welded it up. Luckily, I mean, it worked out best for us because all day I knew I was getting on right when the trucks would probably be passing. I mean, luckily for us, it worked out that Menzies and all those fast dudes and class 1s and everything went by while we were fixing it. So when I got back on the course, the bikers on the tits, I really didn't have much to worry about. Every truck I saw coming, I mean, they hit the racing tracks thing, so I knew they were there, but I gave them plenty of room, got out of their way, like, had no issues at all with that. I mean, it was a great time. I mean, all the truck dudes were giving me thumbs up as they were going by. And then,
rad.
Dude, because they're so hyped like all of us.
Dude, I'll tell you, from a truck side guy, I would have been hyped. I would have given you the thumbs up about the net, too.
Dude.
Yeah, it was rad. And, like, they'd go by, and then all of a sudden, like, Cameron Steele went blasting by, and then a few miles later, I go by, he's broken down, and I go blasting by him, but he's out of the truck just waving me on, giving me the utmost encouragement, like, just cheering me on, like. And that right there, like I was like halfway through my section, just beat, and you see that, you're just like, all right, wide, just hold it wide, you know?
Dude, give you way more inspiration to just keep holding it wide open.
Exactly, especially out in the middle of nowhere. And like, this race is definitely a little bit different than Mexico because there's not as much spectators out in the middle of nowhere. It's just you and the desert and the machine, and that's it, you know? Like, there's the spectator sections and pit sections, but other than that, it's just you and that machine. And it's quite peaceful, to be honest, for me, but it's definitely cool when you're out there and you see somebody like your idol, like Cameron Steele, broken down, cheering you on. You know, you're just like, yeah,
dude, yeah, that's
He's
motivation.
An ambassador right there. He's a total ambassador.
So, Mila, I don't know if you're wondering the same thing too. So we always have a question in the rapid fire segment of the Dirt Life show, Chris, and we ask if they want to ride the guest wants to ride a 3-wheeler or a quad, and they have to pick in 30 seconds or whatever, right? And a lot of them pick quads, and a lot of them pick 3-wheelers. So give a little bit of our audience an understanding of how gnarly it is or what it feels like riding a 3-wheeler for God knows how many miles.
It's intense, man. The thing, it's bouncing all over the place. You know, I mean, Lyle, we have the suspension dial, it has a steering stabilizer, but still, like, I come from a dirt bike background. Like, I race Baja and dirt bikes and stuff and do desert racing and stuff. So I get in my mindset where I think I'm still on a dirt bike because this thing's so smooth, and all of a sudden you come up on some gnarly stuff, and you're just like, holy crap, holding on for dear life, you know, and you're kind of at the mercy of it. And I've crashed before on it, you know, it happens, you know, we've all probably crashed on a 3-wheeler at some point in our lives, you know,
right?
But it definitely is. You got to throw your body weight around, you know, like my legs were getting cramped up from just putting my butt halfway on the seat to each side just to get the corners right. And then from the beginning of the day, it was rad, but then towards the end of the day, after the trucks made the track come through, like you got 2 track, and then you're fighting it, you know, going back and forth. And like the last 20 miles of the Vegas to Reno was in pitch black, was extremely gnarly. Like it was rock city through there. But
yeah, man.
Yeah, we did it. You know, the Desert Unlimited Hella lamps are amazing. I'd like to give a huge shout out to them because that freaking light saved our race, you know, definitely.
Dude, it's just so crazy to me to think, like, actually, you know what? How gnarly is it on your arms and your legs?
I was going to ask about the cramping because on a quad, even on a quad, you can kind of stand up, but on a 3-wheeler, it's sketchy to stand up, right? So you're always sitting.
Oh, what's the move? Sit down?
On a 3-wheeler, you're always sitting.
Yeah, I was getting Charlie horses on the inside of my legs, like real bad. And I would ask Julian and Lyle, because they've been doing 3-wheelers forever. Like Lyle's like a 3-wheeler legend. And they're like, stretch your legs out, just put them over the Nerf bars. Like they're used to this happening. And like it was like locking up to the point where like hitting the brake, it would be like yeah, the Charlie horse. It was unbelievable. Wow. So
how about your arms? Like, how did you feel towards the end, or like you and Lyle both?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I had pretty nasty blisters on my hands. I mean, just on the outside. And I guess I was going to pop it, but they were like, just don't pop it. You never know. You might have to get back on the bike. And sure shit, I had to get back on the bike. I think if I would have popped my blisters, it would have definitely made the ride a lot worse, you know? But other than that, it wasn't not as bad as I thought it would be, you know? Not as people like make out. I mean, 3-wheelers are definitely dangerous. Don't get me wrong. But the way Lyle's got this thing dialed in, it's kind of like riding a couch, you know?
Wow. Is it still a thumb throttle or is it twist?
No, it's thumb throttle still.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Oh,
so
dude.
Right?
Holy smokes.
Original. I mean, the only thing that's new on it would probably be the GPS. You know what I mean? Everything is like what you'd get from...
Dude, these guys.
Like,
heavy metal, dude.
I cannot believe my thumb would have fell off after like 25 miles.
Dude, my thumb just cramped up thinking about it.
Yeah, just thinking about it. Oh, man.
Right. Oh, yeah. I was having to put it on the inside of my thumb because it was just like... I was getting wicked cramped up in my wrist, but...
Wow.
Dude, that's so wild,
Props
right?
to you, man. Props to you. I couldn't even do it on a dirt bike, let alone a 3-wheeler.
Dude,
I'm such bougie.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be a part of the show, man. You guys were awesome. I've been following you guys forever, you know. And
we
appreciate. I want to thank Lyle for this opportunity. He may be chiming in. I told him to come in, but we'll
all right,
see.
that's cool. But don't thank us, dude. You're the one that put in all the work. We're just couch racers right now.
We're just putting you on the pedestal.
Right?
Dude, that's pretty insane, though, man. I was just thinking about it, like, in my head, because, I mean, the last time I rode a 3-wheeler was, 1989. But, yeah, so, like, it's crazy for me to think how much effort it takes to get that thing. Well, actually, you know what I want to ask? Because I was kind of looking at some of the videos that you guys posted. How did you guys set up your pitch strategy and all those different things, right? Because it looked like some other people were helping you fill the bike.
So... we had a good strategy going. Lyle was going to run 1 through 3 pits, and they were at the start. We had to go in and dial. The water pump gasket, like I said, cover set us back like 40 minutes. So, excuse me, by the time we got to like pit 8, all the bikes were gone. I think we were last bike on the course, except for some broken and injured riders. And we had to do pit repairs. So, like, everyone at all the pits from there on out were truck pits. Like, they had welders, they had fuel towers, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like your dirt bike pits were just like a fast, hot pit where in and out, you know what I mean? These dudes were setting up fuel mats and towers. So, there were definitely a lot more people there, and they're willing to help because they've been sitting there for hours, you know? So, we pull up to Lyle and Adriana went to pit 9 and Gabs. And these dudes, I think they were like in the class 10 or they were in some sort of car. And they were willing to help. They let us use a fuel mat. They gave me waters and everything. They were like cheering us on. Like,
dude, that's solid.
Yeah, it's because we're all in awe. We want you to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what people were saying. They were so stoked to see us there, and like so many teams were willing to help. You know what I mean? And cheering us on, especially at night. Like going through there, I was the last 2-stroke. I was the last bike going through, and like people were like double taking, looking like, is this really my eyes deceiving me, or no? It's like 10 o'clock at night, and here comes a 3-wheeler and cheering me on. Coming out to the course, cheering me on, you know, like it was
so
really,
rad.
really cool.
That's
really
so
cool.
rad.
Dude, it really is, man. And just to think about how much effort it takes to get like all that stuff going, right? I mean, well, actually, how hard is it to work and get that thing prepared?
Lyle did all the work. Lyle's been doing this for years, and like I said, we raced the Nora 1000, and we hadn't touched it since. Lyle I think he put new tires on it, a new axle, and we raced it. That top end's got 300 miles on it before the race. Now 700 something, but It still fires right up.
It's a Honda. It'll go for another 500.
Hearing this story makes me so pissed. Like, why can't we just have 2-strokes still all around? Dude, it would be so sick. Hey, I wanted to say too, like, we're always at the same.
And we got no flats either.
Dang! Look at that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we had other issues, but yeah, no flats. Slime definitely. The slime dudes are awesome. Joe Bowman and those dudes definitely helped Lyle out for sure.
So we're probably in the same places a lot at some of these races. So I didn't see you guys in the pits this time. We're so busy and you're so busy. But if we see each other, or if you guys see me walking around, dude, I want to do a freaking build breakdown on this 250R 3-wheeler one of these days. That'd be so sick. Our audience would love that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure Lyle would be stoked about it too. I mean, he'll bring that bike anywhere. That bike's got some miles on it, so he's got some stories to tell with that thing for sure.
Well, yeah, so we'll have to do it. We only got like 30 seconds left. We're going to get Brandon Sims and Skylar Howell on. But, man, yeah, I would love to see the vehicle a little bit more. I think it's one in the background there, no?
That's a 2-wheeler.
Oh, no, that's a 2-wheeler. Yeah, I can see it now. But, dude, I want to see that thing. And, dude, I'm so stoked that you guys came on the show. This was a highlight for me, just seeing you guys bringing back the old school stuff and just ripping, dude. You guys must have had so much fun.
For sure.
Oh, it was a blast, man. Totally such a blast. I just want to thank Lyle again. Thanks. He was so awesome for having me be part of this opportunity and experience. And thank you guys for having me on the show. You know, I mean, definitely be in touch. Let's get this thing out there. You know, we're going to try to do it again. I think we're going to do the Nora 1000 and probably Vegas to Reno again. I mean, we're having a blast, you know, so why not keep the ball rolling?
As long as it's fun, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Doing it.
I agree 100%. Since it's a Honda, we got to get Jamie from Raceco to give you some stickers and some apparel to throw on that bad boy, and it'll rip.
Yeah.
All right, so before we let you sign off, what was the favorite part of the event for you guys?
Finishing. After all the ups and downs and the things that, like, the thoughts in our head, like, oh man, we're not going to get through this, but we did. The adversity, overcame all of it. You know, it was just so badass that we all came together and
dude, super cool. I can just see the whole team. If I was at the finish line, I'd be cracking some hydration with all the boys, man.
Yeah, it was a great time, man. Definitely. It was a great time.
Sweet. Well, thanks, Chris, for joining us. I really appreciate it, man. You guys kicked some serious ass. It was awesome. So, all right, man. Well, we'll see you. What's the next race we're going to see you at?
I'm going to do the Baja 400 with Team 38X.
Nice.
Oh, okay. So you're going to be on 2-wheeler?
So,
Rob?
Yeah, on a dirt bike pro moto. So we're doing that program. But then I think for the 3-wheeler program, I want to say the Nora 1000. The Nora 500 isn't allowing bikes this year, so that's why we did Vegas to Reno.
Okay.
So I think the Nora 1000 is going to be our next shot with that.
Look at this.
Probably want to put a new top end on that one.
Yeah, we're probably going to leave it. Emilio killed it. I mean, it was awesome. So,
Rad.
Yeah.
Rad.
Dude, could you imagine just leaving that thing running, man? Just keeps going and going.
Yeah. Right, man. Honda.
Money, dude.
All right. Hey, well, we'll see you at the races, homie. Hopefully we'll get to shake your hand one of these days.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
All right.
Right on, guys.
See ya.
Later.
Dude.
So rad.
It really is. We're going to get Brandon Sims on here, too.
I'm man enough to know I'm not man enough to do Vegas to Reno on a 3-wheeler.
Dude, I don't know if I could either. And, dude, just knowing how tired your thumb would be.
Dude.
Brandon Sims, what's up, homie? How are you?
What's going on, guys?
Dude, so Vegas to Reno has been insane, and it's been insane for the trophy trucks, the UTVs, everybody. But our previous guest, Chris Kiefner, dude, he was riding a 3-wheeler with a thumb throttle. Like, dude, anything we can complain about, it's out the window now, buddy.
Yeah, I was just watching that. I did, back in 2006, I did like 500 miles on a quad at the Baja 1000. So
thumb throttle?
But I couldn't imagine doing it on a 3-wheeler.
Did you do it with a thumb throttle?
You know, I think we had a twist throttle.
Either way, man. Either way.
That was a long time ago. But I'll tell you what, I really wanted the quad to break down because I was tired. I didn't want to go on.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's hilarious. Skylar Howell's also on with us. What's up, Sky? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, dude, we're doing awesome, man. Just talking about this 3-wheeler with Chris Kiefner that was just on, man, just gives me a massive smile to my face because that's what desert racing is all about. I mean, like, we talked about a whole bunch of stuff on the show, like how close trophy trucks are, you know, in times. It's balls to the wall. UTVs are going twice as fast as they usually go, you know, or they went like 3-4 years ago. But dudes are still holding it strong for the old school bikes.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of work.
This guy, talking because Brandon's doing all the work for the side by side, and then Sky just shows up and sits in the passenger seat, right?
I mean, I get beat to crap in the passenger seat, so I couldn't imagine being on a 3-wheeler for that long.
Seriously.
The level of enthusiasm in Sky right now is just off the charts, right, Brandon?
Yeah. This is Skyler right now.
All right,
Give him a couple beers though. He really lights up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, dude, you could have hydrated with all the guys in the 3-wheeler at the finish line.
What time did they finish at?
It was dark.
Yeah, it was definitely dark. But all right, hey, let's talk about your guys' race a little bit. So, how did qualifying go? First of all,
evidently qualifying is just not my jam because qualifying didn't go very well for us. Actually, I think we qualified like 20th overall. I think I might get a little nervous on either wrecking the car in front of everybody, being on live stream wrecking, and or hurting the car before the race. So I don't know if it's that I just don't go all out during qualifying, but I never seem to qualify that great. I do all the work on race day, apparently. The one thing that we ran into on qualifying was we got like the 15 seconds to go, the sign, and they were like counting down, and then Folks runs out in front of us and stopped us real quick, and he was like, hey, somebody just rolled over on the course, so we're gonna have to stop you guys for a minute. So we sat there for like maybe 10 minutes, and then I see 3 water trucks come out. And they just totally soaked the entire infield. I mean, and it was like perfect before that. It was almost like blue groove. I could see tire marks. I was like, all right, this is gonna be perfect. And then they came out with those water trucks and absolutely watered it. It was just completely slick. I felt like we were racing on ice. So as soon as we took off in qualifying, it was just completely ice. We had no traction. So that didn't help. I'm not making up excuses. I probably still wouldn't have got top qualifier or anywhere near that. But it definitely slowed us down a little bit. We qualified 20th, I think like 13th in class. And then race day was obviously a whole different story for us.
Yeah. So what was the unofficial or the official finishing position for you guys, Sky?
It was 13th and 20th in class.
No, not for qualifying, for the overall day. On race day.
Oh, third.
Yeah, so
third overall.
Okay, so that was a I don't know, an achievement in itself, right? But where did you guys make up that time? Because to come through the pack like that is not an easy feat on a course like this.
When we were checking at the transfer section, we were like third on time or something like that. So in the first 80 miles, we'd already gotten up to third on time, I think, roughly around there. I know that a couple people weren't tracking, so it's really hard to tell exactly where they were or where we were. But we were in the top 5 for sure at the transfer section.
Dude, that's pretty crazy. Okay, so you say you're not like a good qualifying guy, but what is it, like 20 minutes in, that's when you get your mojo and start moving, or what?
I think just I'm not worried about hurting the car before the race. I'm in the race. It's already the big day. If I hurt the car, it is what it is. But I don't want to break the car before the main day. I would be super devastated if I hurt the car bad enough in qualifying that I wasn't able to repair it in time for the race. So I think I kind of hold back a little bit in qualifying and just let it all out during the race itself. That and when I'm chasing people through the desert, I can push so much harder.
Yeah, I guess that. Yeah, because you got a little carrot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we used to do that.
Dangling out there.
The original Tisco crew, we used to not really trip on qualifying. We'd qualify like 15th because we knew we would get either a break halfway through the race with no dust, and we would make up, and we'd always podium.
That's so crazy,
that's
though.
How it worked for us. Even in like the Baja 500, I think we started 22nd. I mean, we always usually start, mid-pack, and I don't mind it one bit, to be honest. Everybody, this race in the UTV class, it was kind of cool because we kind of like had our own race just about because we started an hour after the last 10 car. So we basically had our own race. And I'll be honest,
nice.
Everybody that we caught and gave the push to pass to, we didn't have to bump them. This was like everybody was super good about it. It was super nice not having to hit. That was a buggy though, Skyler. That doesn't count. That was a class 1. I'm saying every UTV.
You guys nerfed a class 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm up for that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
He tried jackrabbiting us, and it was just getting ready to get dark. I was trying to make up some time.
Got to reel him back in.
Yeah, we did nerf a class 1. The only guy we had to nerf all day. Everybody in our class actually was super polite and moved out of the way.
Good job to all the UTV guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because we went from, I think, 20th position physically, and I think we worked our way all the way up to 4th physical at the finish.
Wow.
Dude, that's freaking wild,
good
man.
drive.
Yeah, that is. Like, how was it sitting in the passenger seat, Sky, then? Were you, I don't even know, like, what was the main thing that you were thinking about the whole time? Because when you're moving through that many people and you're keeping such a good, fast, consistent pace, it's got to be like a lot of focus, like, because you can't lose that little bit of focus.
Right. And I was thinking about winning, so that's number one, right? And then overall, it's I mean, first of all, it's hard to just stay focused on reading course notes. And there was a lot of course notes and a lot of turns to read. And so, yeah, I get a little sidetracked sometimes, but I never miss a serious corner. So towards the end of the race, when we knew we had to make up time, I pretty much just looked down and called everything just so that Brandon could drive as fast as he could through the dust.
No flats?
No, we did. We had a tire going low in the pit, so we changed it in the pit.
Oh, perfect.
Other than that, we had a belt that took us out of contention for the overall. That was the one issue we did have. We did change a belt. Unfortunately, it took a little longer than I expected or had hoped for. We haven't blown a belt in like 3 years, but we were pushing extremely hard this race. So I kind of, in the back of my head, I kind of planned on it happening and hoping that it didn't, but we pushed hard enough and we did blow a belt right after, what is it, Gabs, or I forget whatever pit that was. Do you remember, Sky? Is that what Gabs?
Going through that little town?
Pit 7. Or pit 9. Pit 9.
After pit 9, yeah. So we were we blew a belt there and we were running, I think, right with Vito-ish on time. I think we were kind of battling back and forth on time with Vito. And then we lost that belt, and then we were just kind of battling for the podium at that point.
Yeah, well, the pace was
a minute and a half ahead of Vito.
But that pace was insane, right? Like, because I felt like that was a pretty freaking rocket ship style pace that you guys were all on, because nobody was letting up at all.
Yeah, no, to run at the top or the top 3 or even the top 5, you can't really. I mean, there's no room for error. There's no room for any kind of mechanical issues. The pace is just insane. I mean, this was probably the hardest I pushed consistently in a race where, lots of times you kind of get in a groove and you kind of back it down a little bit, but this one, and then, we lost 100 miles. So it turned into the Vegas to Reno 400 and we all pushed extremely hard knowing that it was a 400-mile race rather than a 500-mile race. So, I mean, our pace, I don't think it could have been much faster. I dealt with dust a lot during the day, but then there was times where we did break through, quite a bit of traffic and got to no dust. Also, we were on that 45-mile-an-hour speed zone, and we did get passed in that speed zone, so we had to repass somebody. We had to repass somebody that we had already passed, which kind of sucked.
Yeah, that does suck. I know one thing that helped you out though is that Evolution Power Sports Power, trying to get that past those dudes.
Always.
So what was some of the favorite portions of the track compared to what you guys have dealt with in the past? Because I know this year, I don't know, I guess there was a lot of, what do you want to call it, unknowns, right? Because the weather had washed out some stuff. But, like, most of the people love that end section of the course. What do you think, Skylar?
So the course was, it was fun. It was kind of interesting, the transfer section, because going hard for 115 miles and then getting out and taking a break and then getting back in, that was quite interesting. But the course was fast. It was fun. The one area that wasn't really marked was a little sketchy.
That's what I heard.
Especially when we had to turn around on course. That was pretty scary. But other than that, it was just a fun course.
Or what about when you're going through an unmarked section and you see a trophy truck on its side in a ditch? Or a 6100.
Oh, that was pretty wild.
Who was that?
That was wild. We
Brent
could have
Fox.
drove over it.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, he almost made a
tires out
bridge.
of the ground.
Wait, what'd you say, Brandon?
He almost made a bridge. It was so weird. We came up, the hole was so deep that the truck was completely upside down.
Yeah.
And had there been like a piece of plywood across the tires, we could have just drove right across. That's how he was like completely flush with the terrain. That's how deep the hole was.
Yeah.
Dude, no way. Real? Oh, I think I saw a picture.
Yeah.
Was it the picture where he was on his side?
Yeah. Race
No, he
Safety.
was completely on his roof in this hole.
Race
Oh.
Safely put a picture of him when they were getting him out.
Dude, no way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Dude, that's so wild, man. What were some of the gnarliest or some of the sketchiest moments out there, Brandon?
So one of the sketchiest moments was there was a course change on this high-speed dirt road, and Skyler obviously isn't looking at the course. He's looking at the GPS. And as a driver, I'm looking at the course, and I'm usually reading the terrain, 100 yards in front of me.
Oh, it looks like we lost.
We're hauling ass down this dirt road, and I don't know, we make it probably like a quarter mile, maybe a half mile, and Skyler's like, dude, we're off course. And I'm like, what do you mean we're off course? He's like, I don't know, but the course says go right back there. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? And there was really not a lot of course markings or anything. So I was like, dude, I'm going to turn around. I don't know what else to do, because you couldn't tell that the course was going the way we were going. So I turned around and got off the course and went as far off the side of the course as possible and started driving back up to where the course looked like it had merged away from where we were at. And I got up there, and there was a course worker in this Dodge pickup, and he was there by himself. He had no signage. And I kind of like waved my hands in the air, and I was like, which way do we go? And he turned us back around. And that was pretty sketchy, because, I mean, we weren't on the course. I got off the course as far as possible, but it was extremely dusty. That was like the one complaint I have of the course, was that spot was terribly marked, and I had no idea if we were on the course, off the course. And then, so that was probably the worst part.
That's gnarly.
And then right after that, you make a turn to go head back towards the normal course. And there was so many big rain ruts, and like that rut that the truck got swallowed into. There were so many of those that weren't marked. You didn't know. I mean, I couldn't help him out. I'm just sitting there going, I was staring ahead going, I think a danger up there. Danger, careful. And there's not really much we could do.
Yeah, because he can see it. You see it on the computer, and he sees it in real life. It's like, oh, man.
There was nothing on the computer. So I'm looking ahead for him, just trying to eye dangers.
What I heard, too, was it wasn't on the GPS, and it was old school markings on the tree. So pink ribbon up here, left turn, and you're just following the ribbons on the trees.
There was ribbons?
Well, you guys were in the dark, but during the daytime, you could see the ribbons. Allegedly.
Oh, so they had old school stuff,
we didn't get to, we were almost in Dayton when it got dark. We finished right after dark.
Oh,
so we went through that spot. I just guess I wasn't paying attention. I was just trying to stay alive.
Yeah, way to go, dude. Why didn't you look at that one tree branch, man? What the heck?
I probably was like, man, everybody's littering with these pink ribbons.
Yeah, well, allegedly. I wasn't on course, but that's what I heard, because my co-driver were looking for ribbons.
Dude, that's wild, man.
I guess I wasn't even looking for that.
All right, we got to finish it up. We're going to get your competition. Vito Renulio is going to come on in just a second here. So what's next on the schedule for you guys?
We've got probably that California 300.
Oh, yeah.
And then Baja 1000. And if I get a wild hair, maybe I'll go race the Laughlin race that Best in Desert might have.
Oh, dude, look at that.
That'd be fun.
Well, now you know to look for pink markers on trees, at least.
Yeah, we'll keep my eye out for that.
I
do remember racing back when I did Baja 1000 back in 06. I do remember seeing pink ribbons down there, because we didn't have GPS on a quad. I didn't have much of a choice.
Right.
But to be diligent and look for pink ribbons.
Dang, dude.
So that was awfully.
We just needed to remind him of it. Now he's going to look for them all the time.
Yeah,
every now and again,
I'll make sure to not look at the course. I'll just be looking at all the side marks.
Every now and again, I'll see a pink ribbon if I'm not paying attention to the GPS.
Oh, hey, but on a serious note, dude, you guys really did kick some ass, and you guys' pace was insane. I still can't believe, like, I don't understand how you guys go this fast in the desert. So kudos, no matter what.
Yeah, well, we'll see if we can't step it up. I've got a new car in the background that I'm building, so I got a new Pro R that'll be out there, and that'll be the next one.
Right on, man. I'm hyped to see that thing get built, dude. All right, well, good job, boys. We really appreciate you guys coming on the show and hanging out with us. Thanks for taking the time away from your busy schedules.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for having us. We'll see you at the next one.
Yeah, see you guys then. Later.
Thanks.
All right, let's get Vito Renulio on here. Looks like Jason Coleman might want to come chat with us for a little bit too. I know he's a busy guy, so hopefully he can wait up for a little bit. Vito Renulio, what's up, man? Welcome to the Dirt Life Show.
How's it going, guys?
Oh, dude, we're doing good, man. Not quite as good as you though. You had you had a pretty awesome Vegas to Reno, coming home with victory in the Pro Turbo class.
Oh yeah, I mean we're stoked. Flawless day all day, and then to run up front like that all day, and then first in class and overall, that's pretty big for us.
It's a good feeling, huh?
Yeah. We've been running good over the last, I would say, right, all year long. We've been running strong. Started mid-year last year, we've had a good run, good momentum. Been on the podium pretty much since, say, October of last year. Consistent. So
yeah, well, and you guys have been doing really well, but you guys are doing also forward thinking, as I like to call it, for your race program. So you had your previous car that you've been driving, and you've been driving the heck out of that thing, and usually, in the podium positions at the races. And now you got a new car, and you're able to take it to victory. Like, how does that feel?
Oh, yeah, there was a little controversy from my team here that they didn't want to get rid of the car. They're like, "Oh, well, how could you get rid of that car? I mean, you're leading points. It's been winning for us, and now we're going to go to a brand new car, untested." I was like, "Well, right now the car brings the best money, right? So, and not just the money, but we had a brand new car built, sitting here, ready to go, and we did do testing on it. We went out and put about 100 miles on it." And the car works flawless. I mean, there's some pretty cool changes we've done to this car versus the other car, and it rails. I mean, it's a quick little car.
What's the difference between the two cars?
Speed secrets.
Yeah. Well, we really just brought the center of gravity way down and to the center of the car. With a lot of changes we made.
Yeah, I know. A lot of guys are trying to do that in the UTV class.
Yeah. We've been on the long travel kit, and it works great. It actually works really well. It's just we're trying to go back to the 72-inch car to take stress off the car, stress off parts, and just try something a little different.
Yeah, well, you're doing a fantastic job, man. What were some of the highlights of the race for you guys? I mean, first of all, I think the best highlight is that you guys are just pushing and pushing. Like, you guys are creating a pace that is just insanely fast now. But what are some of the highlights for you guys?
I mean, the whole race is a highlight for me. That the pace is intense. I mean, right out of the gate, first mile in, I mean, we were in it the whole day. I mean, I was shocked that the cars handle it. But really, we were gauging our pace off because we had no radio communication. So we never knew. We never had split times. We never had anything throughout the whole race. We were doing it all off a feel. We were doing it by what we could see. We had Joe and Phil and, the people that started in front of us, right, that we could see. And really, when the race started, we just kind of kept at the back of their dust trail, right? And just kind of kept that, within range. So that's kind of how we ran our whole race. Highlights, I mean.
That's actually a really good way to explain it, though, too, is like, so you guys are, I don't know how you're getting that information or if you can just see them in the dust and you're actually like have a visual cue, but that's interesting because that's a good race strategy, is to understand the speed of everybody else and kind of just gauge it that way, because that gives you a pretty good competitive advantage.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have something to gauge yourself off of. If not, You're just running around in circles, right? So you got to have something. That's the hardest thing I found coming into desert racing, right? Because you can't visually see your competitor all the time, right? You don't know what's happening out there. So, the pace though is, I mean, like I was talking to Phil earlier, I was like, I couldn't have pushed it anymore. I gave it everything it had the whole time. I mean, I saw, Guthrie must have had an issue of flat or something, and we got around him, and then he stayed behind us the whole time, and then I see him starting to creep up on us, right? I'm like, man, he's back there. I'm telling my co-driver, he's back there. And so I'm having to push on him. When we get on those big wide opens, I'm like, I'm really have to lean on the car a little bit more than I wanted to. But with that Pro R, I was trying to really stay in front of it. And then as we got in, coming across the last road crossing, I think on corrected time, we were just within seconds of Phil or minute maybe, or whatever it was. And then we saw them pulled over the flat. We're like, all right, that's it. Game over, right? It's this is our race now. And
yeah, but that's so wild. Like, to me, when I hear that, like, that's how competitive it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We're within seconds. We're 7 hours into this race, right? And we're seconds apart.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's wild, right?
And now the mental game kicks in
because I got Mitch breathing on me behind me.
Yeah, because you got to push, but you don't want to push too, Marv, because now you have track position. It's so adrenaline filled.
Yeah. So
once I got around Phil, then I saw, oh, that's it. I'm going to start backing down. My co-driver was like, what are you doing?
You can't back
Let's
down.
pick this back up again. We got an overall to get. And so, and Mitch is in the background, right? I'm like, shoot, man, I'm just pushing. And then, we go up over the pass, we get in the rock section. And, literally, I turned it up in the rocks. I was like, that was probably the worst thing I could have done, but I did it. And I had to do it. We were I ended up passing a class one. Was it a class one? I think it was, or whatever it was. Coming to the finish line, like down the hill, like that real tight areas and stuff. I'm chasing a guy down where I can't even see on that side of that cliff, right, to stay in front of Mitch. The pace I know that he runs and Phil and all those guys run. You have to be pushing the whole time. You give up on one corner and they make ground on you.
Yep.
Dude, so what does it feel like inside the car when you have that level of focus and that level of intensity? Did you think it was going to be like that racing UTVs? Because for me, I see it as a different level.
I didn't. I didn't think. I thought desert racing was a little more, a little different pace. But I don't know if all desert racing's like this. I just think that our class, and all the guys you've talked to have said already today. They're so competitive. You have one problem and you're done.
It's wild though. But in the other classes, it's kind of like that too. Because Isenhouer is saying 6,100.
It seems like it's gone
Menzies.
all the way down the board. With everything is just so reliable now. You gotta just go and just make sure your game is on point.
Dude, yeah. How did you guys qualify? Did you guys qualify well?
I think we ended up qualifying 4th in class, 6th overall.
Oh, okay, so you weren't too bad then. Yeah. That actually, in my opinion, that sets up the whole weekend right there. Like that's what I thought. It was super cool that Best in the Desert allowed the pro UTV guys to qualify.
I think they have to.
Yeah, because it's better than the random draw, right?
Oh, the random draw is the worst because you have a fast guy and then you'll get stuck in last. It's like
or whatever it is, yeah,
or whatever your draw, yeah.
So that was actually.
Qualifying is not the end of it for sure.
No.
Brandon's a prime example, but it can set you up to, for a much better race, if you qualify better. And I haven't qualified very well in the UTVs prior. I'm getting better at pushing the car, but again, there you go. So we go to qualify. We qualify this car. We run 3 miles. We bring it back in the parking garage, tear the suspension out of it, put new axles in it, new differential in it, service the car, put it all back together for the race.
Dude, that's a lot of work, man.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
But that's the level we're at now.
That's what it takes.
It's not sad but true, but that's just the level. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, well, that's off-road racing,
but when you do it correctly, you get the top spot.
You can come home victoriously. When did you know that you guys were, in contention for the win?
Once I saw, I didn't know it, but I pretty much kind of calculated with just by who was still in front of me. Once Joe Toronto, he had an issue and pulled off. So then, and then obviously I had Phil in front of me. So it was just Phil and me, and then whoever was behind me, which was Mitch. And my team, we're going through the pits. We're looking, behind us. We're trying to get things, but we can't hear our team at all. Zero communication. So, we're just looking over our shoulders, here and there when we got chances, and we never saw anybody creeping on us. So we're like, well, we're running a pretty awesome pace right now. So, for someone to close the gap on us, they're pushing hard.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And we just had a text message come through from Skylar, who was just on with us now too, and he said, "Yeah, please tell Vito congratulations, because that was a wild and a hard-earned race for him." So, the level of competition and the prowess and the driving skills and the respect level of the competitors, dude, you got to feel pretty good about that when your fellow competitors are telling you that you drove that good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's extremely rewarding to gain the respect from all the guys, over the last year, between all the top guys. They've been really, really, really good to us. So, I'm enjoying it. I enjoy the competition. I hate that this Pro R came out because it divided our class, because it took some of the drivers away from us. And I if I'm going to go compete, I want to compete against.
Yeah, but it also
the best, right? Always to see if I can be the best, right?
Yeah. But it also gives a level of challenge too, right? Because then you got a different vehicle that you compete against, and some of these guys you still will see them on the course. There's all kinds of different things that happen in desert racing. So to me, like I as a spectator, I love seeing the versatility. I love seeing you go out there and beat Mitch. I love seeing Mitch beat trophy trucks and class ones. Like all of that stuff really adds to a bigger storyline of the progression of off-road. And now with like the things like that Bryce is doing to capture all of these visuals and to help out with the promotion of off-road, all of this stuff is going to come to fruition in the next couple years, dude, and you're part of that right now. Like that's got to feel so rad.
Oh yeah, no, people ask me too, they're like, oh, you're going to move up maybe to 6100 or the big trucks. I'm like, no, the future is the UTV.
Yeah,
that's true.
It is. Maybe it's ignorant to say, but really, I feel like the UTV is going to keep the sport alive in the future, right?
I don't feel like that's ignorance at all. Like, Mila's been through more than all of us sitting here with the desert racing stuff, right? And the stuff that he's seen and that he speaks about, he is 100% in agreement with you.
I agree. And if someone would have told me in 2005 when I'm sitting in a trophy truck that the Rhino is going to change off-road racing by 2022, I would have said, "You get out of here."
Yeah, you're crazy.
100%. It's a whole new market. It's a whole new field, and it's taken off-road to a whole nother level. I'm 100% in agreement.
Don't get me wrong. The trucks they're freaking awesome, right?
It's not for everybody.
But not everybody has $2 million and has that operating budget to run one. So
yeah, 100%.
And it's hard to relate to one, right? So the average guy comes out to races. They relate to us, right? They talk to us. They want to see our parts, what we're running. I mean, it's.
Yeah,
I see the real future there.
I agree wholeheartely. I don't have money for a trophy truck. I just latched on to people that did.
Yeah, dude.
I love it. I love the UTV. I mean, it's just. I mean, it can do work out there.
Well, they go fast enough to seriously scare you.
Well, we're our guests that are going to come on in a little bit, like Curtis Elliott and Mitch Guthrie, obviously, and Vito's doing it too. And even Brandon even talked about nerfing a class 1, and the competition level. Hey, Vito, we're gonna get going. We got to let you go because we're gonna get the other guys on here. But just give me one overall favorite part of the race week, I guess you could say. Maybe it's not even on the track. Maybe it's with your crew or celebrating at the end or with your family. Because I know that there's a lot that's happening behind the scenes that we don't get to see on Instagram. And I'd like to give our audience a little bit more in-depth level of you and your family and your team.
My family contributes a lot of their time to help me get to the races, but I think a funny moment and a good moment. I mean, it's always been a kind of a thing for us to have a steak dinner for the race, right? So I always make sure I get pretty awesome steaks, and we bring a barbecue, we cook. I'm totally prepared. My guys are like, "You got everything?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've got everything. Don't worry." So I get there, I'm starting to cook these beautiful, fillets that are about 2.5 inches thick, in the parking lot. I'm like, "Uh-oh, where's the plates?"
Oh,
we're like, "Oh, shoot, I forgot the plates." So one of my crew guys goes and by the dumpster, finds the cardboard boxes and cuts up cardboard boxes and make plates. We're sitting out there like dirty cardboard, eating just an off plate before the race.
Off-road improvisation.
Dude, yeah, but that's it. That's the way to do it, man. You didn't forget the lug nuts. You got nice new tires. You got the car. You got the oil change. Everything's good. You just forget the plates, man. You got to improvise.
That was it.
Oh, I love it, dude. That's super cool, man. But hey, on a real note, dude, congratulations. You kicked some serious ass. You kept all those guys on their toes all day, and your competitors have a new carrot to chase, so to speak.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on the show, guys.
Yeah, we really appreciate it, man. Have a good rest of your week. And what's the next race for you?
We're just going to run the best of the desert stuff. So whenever I don't know what's happening on the next race, really. I mean, I guess there's possibility it's got canceled now or moved or something. I'm not sure. We're leading the points in Best of the Desert, so I want to stay in that and finish it out.
Help Can-Am bring home a championship. Well, that's good on you, dude, and congratulations at the races, and congratulations to your whole team, dude. All right, man.
Congrats, Vito.
Yeah, we'll see you later, Vito. Have a good one, man. All right, so we're going to get Mitch Guthrie and Curtis Elliott on here in just a little bit. It's cool to see, though, man. We don't have very much battery left. I don't know how long the iPhone is going to be able to last. I really wish the technology was just a little bit easier for us, dude.
Easier.
But it is what it is. So we're going to get Curtis Elliott and Mitch Guthrie on here in just a little bit. We'll talk to them about how fast that pace was in let's see here. I'll invite them real quick. how fast the pace was in the UTV class, as well as being able to chase all those guys too, right? All right, so we'll see if they answer here, and we'll get them on the show. There he is.
Mitchie.
There's the guys right there. So Mitch Guthrie and Curtis Elliott, what's up, boys? How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing great.
Yeah, we're doing awesome over here, too. We don't have that much battery life left on the iPhone as we're doing 2.5 hours right here. But the race seemed like it was pretty intense, dude. We've been talking to everybody from trophy truck drivers, 6100 UTV drivers, and everybody is saying the same thing. It's just balls to the wall from the start. Is that the way you guys felt, too, or did you guys have a different plan?
Yeah, definitely. It was a really fast Vegas to Reno. Usually Vegas to Reno, I mean, it has a little bit of everything. But overall it has a lot of fast stuff, I would say. And it's, a lot of rally roads, fast rollers, that type of stuff. So, and then also with the trailer section and that whole deal, it really made it into like a sprint race because the first 100 miles went super quick, and it was kind of I feel like everyone kind of stayed, in everyone's dust. And then it was kind of made it into like a 300-mile sprint race towards the end of it.
Yeah, it seemed like that, right? Like, what was your guys' pace? Was it just like 100% the whole time, or did you guys turn it up at the end?
I mean, I would say in that first 100 miles, kind of just settled in and tried to make up time on the leader. And then from there, the last 300 miles, we had a flat tire, I don't know, 30 miles in or something after pit 1. So from there, I kind of pushed it to get to the trailer section, just kind of kept the car in one piece, and then kind of wanted to spend that 300 mile section as like a, pretend it was Silver State 300 and kind of send it. So that's kind of what we did.
Yeah, I kind of thought that's what your guys' approach was. So, like, what were you thinking in the passenger seat, Curtis? Like, was it just, I don't know, keep the car together, or was it like what Mitch said and just go as fast as you can to see if you can make up some ground?
It was more like a good mix of both. Silver State was like a sprint, so after we got through that transfer section, it was pretty much like a sprint race, and just go as fast as you can with also a lot of luck involved and not getting any flats or braking or even just blowing one corner, and you could lose the race right there, even by seconds. So it was really a fast pace with a lot of competition and lots of rocks too. That's what really
you got to be super careful with your tires. I think Mike Gardner just commented in saying the sexiest duo on UTVs or something. But we had a comment come in earlier that said you definitely need thicker axles when you have a mustache like Nick Isenhouer does. I think you guys probably are lucky that the Pro R has thicker axles too, because those mustaches are looking pretty sweet.
On point.
I've never heard that one, but that's a good one. I like it.
Are you handing out speeding tickets with those things or what?
You want me to?
Oh, he's got him right there. He's ready to write you up, Mila. What were some of the funnest portions that you guys had inside the car during the race?
I mean, for me, the whole race is a blast. I really look forward to Vegas to Reno just because it's, one of the longest races we have of the year. And we're able to, that one's more of like a real desert race, it feels like, although this year we cut out 100 miles. So it was more of a sprint race. But Vegas to Reno is a cool one because, you can have some small issues and still be right there. Like we had that, flat tire, which it's just, one of those ones where you go through a corner and you randomly have a flat and, you catch the wrong rock in that silty corner. And that's kind of what happened to us. But Vegas to Reno is one of those ones where you can still fight back and have like a lot of time to gain. So that's what we did this year. And I mean, it was unfortunate we had that flat in the beginning, but it was a really good time pushing the car hard for the, remaining 300 miles to try and make up as much time as we could. And, basically just see what we could do.
Yeah. And I think, Mila, we kind of forget too, like, since Mitch and Curtis are like such professionals out there, this is really still a new car for them. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's got a million miles on it just yet. So Curtis, knowing that, like, how do you feel like things are progressing? Do you feel like there's still a lot more speed you can get out of the car? Do you feel like you guys are doing well with it? Like, I guess maybe a better question is, when you get off the track after having such good success, where do you look for, and what do you look for to future better everything?
It really, I mean, we've got this thing pretty dialed in now. So there's not many obvious things that we can do to it to make it that much faster. But, I mean, it just gets down to the small tinkering and making it either handle better, or there's just the suspension, or thinking of something new that we can put on, or clutching, keeping it the belt temps lower so we can just go faster in the sill and stuff like that. So all that little stuff can add up to, 5 miles an hour faster, or, 30 seconds off of your race, which can mean a first, a second, or a third.
Yeah, or just, I guess, just being able to even push it just a little bit harder, like 2%, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty wild, man, to think about that. And that's probably why we're getting all of the stuff that we're talking about today about how fast the pace is, because everything increases like in those little steps, and it is what it is now.
Well, if you can increase it 1% for 500 miles, I mean, geez, that's a whole nother level.
Dude, yeah, Mitchie, you got to be pretty stoked on all that, dude. You've been a part of this stuff for a long time, man. To see the future of UTVs is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think like our second place 12 seconds at Silver State was like a big one for us. I'm just super stoked with, we put in a ton of work behind the scenes, and we don't really show a lot of that. But we put in a ton, especially for this Vegas to Reno, to make sure the car was dialed. And, one thing we do after every race is, look at what we could improve and do better to, go faster at the next one. So like, to your point about the Pro R, it's like, yeah, we've got it dialed now, but after this race, we already got a list of what we can keep improving to go even faster for the next one, and keep doing that every single race. So the car is always evolving, and we're getting it to go faster. And yeah, it's just insane to see where the sport is at now, compared to just a few years ago. The pace that we run, how durable the cars are, especially that Pro R, it's insane.
The pace and the size, the competition, just the evolution.
I know. I feel like,
amazing.
I feel like it's pretty massive now. Like, I'm so stoked. Like, and you saw Bryce and all his setup, like how they're doing the live feeds and stuff. Dude, I can't wait until like 2 years from now, and all of this stuff is available for the public to see. It's going to be so sick, and it makes me feel good to know that you guys will be on the forefront of that, and people will be able to watch you guys do that. It's going to be rad.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it was really cool. This Best in the Desert race, they put a lot into all that live streaming and stuff. So that's kind of the evolution that we need for desert racing, especially to get more eyes on it. But it was really cool to see too, like this Vegas to Reno felt like a really big one to me, at least on the UTV side. You had the South Racing guys, and then also the OT3s, and Guillaume and Christina, and a lot of people didn't even notice, but Danny Sordo was out there. Do
you know who Danny Sordo is?
I do not.
Yeah, me neither. Oh man, Mitch's audio just broke up.
The top WRC drivers for Hyundai.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
I got you guys now.
Yeah, so we got we're growing. Like, that's awesome.
That's big.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like this Vegas to Reno was a huge one, and it brought in a lot of people, and you had everyone from Baja, Best in the Desert, all that different stuff. And Polaris brought all their best guys. Can-Am brought all their guys, and it was just a battle out there. So that's what makes it fun. Like Vito was saying, you want to be racing against the best people.
Yep.
We're competitive, and we want to be that top guy. And, big congrats to Vito. He was on it all day long, and we were pushing him as much as we could. And it was just a blast. This was a really fun one.
From a racer's perspective, Curtis, you think you could push any harder, or you guys think you were maxed out?
With the list that we have to make the car faster after this race, of course we're going to be able to push.
Look at that. Spoken like a true racer. I like to hear it. What is something that you guys can tell us? How about Curtis? You go first. That was behind the scenes. Maybe it wasn't even on the racetrack. That was funny, kind of like Vito and having to cut cardboard from a trash can for paper plates. Was something funny that happened for you guys during the Vegas to Reno week?
I think a lot of people underestimate how much fun you can have with your crew off of the track.
Yeah.
Just going at the hotel in between, walking, like through qualifying or like tech and getting ready and stuff like that. It's really the small things like, people dancing or messing with each other on the radio and all that stuff. All that is really underestimated to me. All the B-roll stuff.
Yeah.
That I really get a kick out of that. And also just during the race, I bet people in the pits just have a good old time in the trucks together. So, I mean, all the B-roll stuff is really, really what matters to me.
Dude, I love hearing him say that because that's literally what the dirt life is. Like, it's exactly that. So I love hearing that you say that, man. Mitchie, when you guys come home or come across the finish line, you got to give respect to all the racers, but we had Chris Kiefner on that was riding a 250cc two-stroke three-wheeler 250R, and he crossed the finish line, and he told us that he had a thumb throttle on that son of a gun, dude. Could you imagine crossing the finish line with a thumb throttle? Holy smoke, would your thumb be dead?
Dude.
No, I can't imagine.
My thumb still hurts.
I think we actually passed the end, and I think I mentioned to Curtis, I was like, that's the three-wheeler guy, he's got to have some strong thumbs for sure. Don't get in a thumb war with that guy.
And thighs, man, because you're sitting down the whole time.
Yeah, just gripping the tank, just shredding your thumb. Man. Did you guys throw him a few shout-outs out the window?
I think we threw some silt at him. We were in like kind of a silt bed there, so we kind of by him at just as it was getting dark. But props to that guy though, because I mean that's insane being able to race that entire race on that thing.
Dude, it's so wild. All right, so what's on the next on the roster for you boys?
Man, finishing out 2022. We've got some international racing coming up. We should be going to Morocco, and then we'll see. I think Andalusia Rally got postponed and moved to October, so hopefully we'll do that as well. We've got some of the scramble races. I'm really looking forward to. I'm hoping in December we'll have the sand scramble back in Glamis, which was an absolute blast.
That looks fun.
I loved
that looked wild.
Yeah, got to fight old James Hill for that number 1 spot again.
Yeah.
And things are kind of winding down, and then it's like back to King of the Hammers, Dakar, all that stuff, and the beginning of the year gets super busy. So looking at building new cars, all that type of stuff.
Dude, well, I'm glad that you guys have like dudes like Curtis and your dad and everybody else out helping, because it takes a team to make all this stuff happen. So you guys are really kicking ass, man. Again, I want to say congratulations to you guys for obviously taking home the W in the UTV Unlimited, or what do they call it? Trophy Unlimited UTV class. But overall, like I genuinely want to say thank you, because you guys are help pushing and elevate this sport to something that we haven't seen yet. So please keep doing what you're doing, because it's making all of us much better and looking good on the forefront of off-road. So
and
please,
moving forward.
Yeah, and moving forward. Like, that is so meaningful. I don't know if you guys realize what you're doing on a daily basis, how far you're progressing us, but keep up the good work.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate that, guys. Thank you very much.
And don't forget about Mila next year for Red Bull Formula One tickets.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. He definitely, dude. He's big Max Verstappen fan over here. You got to help him.
Red Bull, so Max is there.
Okay, perfect. All right, boys. Hey, thank you guys very much.
Congrats again.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
Later. All right, so we're going to get Max Eddy on here. Hopefully we can have this battery last on the iPhone for a little bit more, and get your buddy Jason Coleman on as well. So Max Eddy was the winner in the normally aspirated UTV class. What's up, Max? How are you?
What's going on? I'm good.
Dude,
how are you guys?
Congratulations, dude.
Mila, thank you.
So how was the actual race for you? I didn't get to see you much during the weekend. I saw some of your pit guys, got to hang out with everybody, but was it all business, or you guys have some fun too?
No, we have so much fun. Our group of guys that we have a saying that never stops, right? Like every single day there's something new. Every single hour there's a new saying. There's someone messing with someone else on our team, and it literally never, the BS never stops on my team.
That's rad.
Yeah, it's good though, right? And it makes you happy. Did you have to cut any cardboard because you forgot paper plates like Vito did for some badass steaks?
No, we didn't. Unfortunately, I know all of my guys are bummed, but we didn't do no camping on the side of the road this trip. We took it a little bit more serious. We're staying in hotels so we can all get some rest and stuff. So it wasn't as adventurous as Silver State was because we camped on the extraterrestrial highway there.
Hey, so
it was good.
We got, speaking of crew, we got your co-dog, Austin Eddy, on as well. What's up, Austin? How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, George?
Doing pretty good, man. So the race was pretty rad. You guys obviously came home with the victory, but what was some of the funnest parts that you had with Max during the event?
I don't know. Obviously, the finish, that's always the best part, especially coming out on top. And then I think just hanging out with the guys, all the crew, I think that's the funnest part.
Yeah, I agree with those statements wholeheartedly. But like when I think about it from your guys' standpoint, like you guys both take racing very seriously. Max has an awesome program, and when you guys go out there, you're set to win. Like you're getting ready to win. And so when you're in the car and you guys are going as fast as you are and competing at this level that we've been talking about all show, you can't slouch. You got to be like 100% full wood the whole time. So what is it like when you're going through that?
Are you asking me or Austin?
I was asking Austin, but why don't you go, Max?
You know, it's for me, I've been doing it for a long time at a really high level, you know, coming off a bike. So to be 100% honest with you, the side-by-side is a little bit relaxing, you know, not super, super intense. Obviously, you got to be pretty focused on your task at hand, you know, and but it's not so much on dirt bike. A rock is going to possibly send you to the hospital on the dirt bike. So that aspect, it's a little bit relaxed, but I'm new to the side-by-side program. I'm starving for victories and to climb that ladder up into. I want to race with the fast guys. I want to be with the best of the best in the unlimited class, and I want to fight for wins in that class. So I'm working my ass off to you know, try to prove and dominate the NA class, which is super fun, super competitive, and that's my goal.
But you guys are pushing those cars pretty hard, man. Your pace is not slow at all. So Austin, when you guys are going that fast in a car, how does it actually feel?
I don't know. The race goes by really quick, actually. Felt like we were in the car for maybe 4 hours, but we were in there for 9 hours, and it's pretty intense. We're just like hammering down the whole time, but still trying to save the car to go 500 miles or whatever. But it's still pretty intense.
Yeah, and then you guys are obviously both thinking about Max, like saving the car and making sure that it crosses the finish line. Did you guys have any incidents along the way that scared you?
No, yeah, we did. So I'm thinking this whole time, I'm like, there's no way this car is going to last. We were pushing pretty hard. I mean, everyone was. At the restart, I was sitting sixth on corrected time, physically second still, you know, and I thought, oh, well, we had a pretty good pace going. I was pacing off of Josh, the dude in front of me, and I was like, this is a pretty good pace. And at the restart, we look at the timing, and we were sixth on corrected time. I'm like, oh, man, we gotta go, you know, so we started pushing hard, and I'm like, well, there's no way this car is going to last with us pushing this hard.
That's wild.
It was literally like a 400-mile sprint race, George, Mila. It was crazy. The NA class is kind of no joke because these cars, you almost can't hurt them, right? Unless you run them into a ditch or something or rip a corner off. But you can just stay flat-footed all day long in these things, in the NA cars. And that's pretty much how you have to drive them.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, but like, and not to discount the NA class, but that's the way that it's getting in the Trophy Unlimited UTV class as well as the Pro Turbo class. Like, it's crazy. And there is little spots, though, that like some of the normally aspirated cars can, naturally aspirated cars can catch up, or the switchbacks and stuff, they can go faster. But like what Max is saying is exactly what we've been talking about all night, is that everything is getting so competitive.
Yeah, as soon as the green flag drops, man, everyone is hammered down.
Yeah, it's wild, right?
It really is. It's insane that the beating these things can take, and we look at the overall results. We're up in the top 20 overall out of all the UTVs. There was 100 and something UTVs that started Vegas to Reno, and I think we finished like 20th overall, the first NA car. But it was badass. These things move along pretty good for what they are.
Yeah, sure. Totally. You never probably thought that UTVs were going to be that fast, did you, Austin?
No, they impressed me every race. Like this race, we hit a couple like big old rain ruts, or even the tires. The tires impressed me. I thought we'd hit a couple big rocks and I'd like unzip the pouch, get ready to take the impact out, and I just wait for it to go flat, and it never even went flat.
Nice, dude. That's pretty cool. What were some of the highlights of the race for you guys then? Max, you go first, and then Austin, you answer as well.
I was watching your show with Mitchie, and the only dude that crossed the finish line on the 3-wheeler, we passed him in the last 8 miles, and that last 8 miles going up to the top of the hill before you drop down to the finish line is absolutely brutal and gnarly. And we caught that guy, and he's seen us coming, and obviously he's been watching back. He pulled over, and he was hanging off his 3-wheeler, giving us the sign and stuff, and he was still just as stoked as he was when he took off from the starting line, I would imagine. So that was pretty badass, and then obviously being able to represent my sponsors to the best of my ability and get them, my sponsors and my team and everyone that's worked so hard, our second in a row win with this brand new car is probably the highlight of my race for sure.
Spoken like a true racer, just always looking forward, pushing for more, right? What about you, Austin? Did you have like a specific part on the track that you were stoked on?
I pretty much liked the whole course, really. I liked all the locals. They were so excited, and they stayed out all day just watching people go by. I forget what pit it was. One of the last pits, the visual, there was just a dude in like a wheelchair that's probably been out there all day just watching everyone go by, and he was so excited when
that's rad.
That is way rad.
Like, dude, he was like hanging halfway out of his wheelchair, just like waving us on, telling us to go.
Dude, that's so cool. Like, I'm making fun because of myself too, but like that's one of those things that gets you so fired up. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the dude in the wheelchair stood up and cheered you on because he was so stoked on it, right? Like, I love hearing those stories because it's like the next level of happiness for anybody that's watching.
Yeah, it's kind of like racing in Mexico. All the locals and all the fans are just so excited to have a race come through their town, pretty much.
Dude, yeah, that's super cool, man. Well, and so you're gonna race the rest of the Best in the Desert series, then, Max?
Yeah, yep. We're leading the points now, going into the two last 200-mile races. So we will definitely finish out the Best in the Desert series and continue to chase that championship.
200 miles of racing is basically a sprint race these days in the desert.
Crazy,
like,
huh?
Yeah, it's freaking wild, man. And 200 miles, it takes a long time, but you're wide open in all these cars.
And you'll probably have a real small gap at the end between 3 people.
Yeah, exactly. When you guys crossed the finish line, how did it feel? Were you guys pretty tired?
No, I mean, no, honestly, not really. These things are just super relaxed, man. I've done Vegas to Reno in the trophy truck and been more tired. I think the trophy trucks are so intense and so hot. When you get out, you're physically drained, physically and mentally drained just from being in that truck. And with these UTVs, a little bit slower. I think our top speed was 86, 87 miles an hour. And, it's considerably slower. It's not hot. It's just, they're more relaxing. So I felt I can go another 400 miles when we cross the finish line, no problem.
What I heard when he was saying that whole thing was these Fox shocks are badass. That's exactly what I heard. Yep.
Dude, our car works so good. I was a little worried about it being a little soft because it's so good in the chop, you know, and the braking and accelerating runs so good in there. And I was worried about it being too soft in the big bumps and the big rollers and stuff. But that car works amazing. Vince and all the guys at Fox have got that thing working really, really well.
Nice.
And our Yokohama tires are unreal. The K wheels saved my ass in the last 8 miles. I made a driving mistake and slid into a rock with the sidewall, and it plowed right into the wheel and the tire, and it bent the wheel pretty dang good, where like you could see daylight through the wheel. And I run non-beadlocks on my car, and I was expecting to have to get out and change a tire, and we never did.
Yeah, that's rad, dude. Yeah, go KMC.
Yep.
For sure.
All right, we're going to let you guys go, dude. Congratulations. Is there anything else that you wanted to say that before we let you guys go, Austin?
No, just big thanks to all of our pit crew and all the sponsors that let us keep racing.
One of the best pit crews in the business, man. You guys are doing a fantastic job. So kudos to all those guys. I can't wait to see you guys at the races. It'd be really cool to see you guys wrap up a title this year.
Yep, that's for sure. We're going for it. I think we've got a pretty decent points lead after the double points at Vegas to Reno. So we're gonna keep pushing. Obviously, I think race wins are more important for me. I like the race wins over a championship. The championship comes if you win race. So that's the way I look at it.
Spoken like a true racer. All right, boys. Well, thank you very much for hanging out. We really appreciate it. Kudos on the win, and we'll see you soon, I'm sure.
All righty.
All right, man.
Guys. See you, Mila. See you, George.
Good job, guys.
Later. All right. Let's see it, dude. I don't know how long this battery is going to last.
I don't think it's going to last, bro.
Do you want to even get Jason on, or you want to do it at a different time?
I think we should do it next week or whenever.
Yeah, why don't we do it at a different time?
Give him more time.
Yeah, give him more time. And then I appreciate everybody that stayed along with the show and hung out with us. We didn't get a chance because of the technical difficulties. I definitely want to thank all of our sponsors, the guys over at KMC Wheels, like we had mentioned before. So please go check out Wheel Merch. You can get some of the cool stuff like this hat that I have on. Go to your local 4-wheel parts dealership and pick up some KMC wheels and some Maxxis tires. Maxxis is a news partner of the show. You can see in the background right here. So please go get some of those things. They got some really, really cool 33-inch tires that you can get for your UTV. That's what we're going to probably put on our UTV. Thank you to Can-Am for sponsoring this episode, man. They did such a fantastic job at Vegas to Reno, but they have some cool products like their ATVs for the kids that we talked about, the fuel injection ones.
And their cars are phenomenal.
Yeah, exactly. Doing a really good job. Thank you very much to all the guys over at Cryo Heat. Thank you to the guys at Vision Canopy. We appreciate Travis Zollinger and his whole team at ZRP. Man, just everybody that's just part of the show, dude. You guys all that watch at home, man, it's really cool to see the show growing and how much you guys are caring about it. So we really appreciate all of you guys. Thanks to James at IMG for letting us use his shop and hanging out. Appreciate you coming in and always doing such a good job. Mila, you're a natural at this,
man.
buddy.
I love it.
And thank you to all of our guests, man. We had some fantastic conversations with some really great people. So, we really appreciate everybody. Man, we had so many comments coming in talking about other people wanting to get on the show and stuff. I'm sorry that we don't have a million hours that we can talk about this stuff, but we love you guys. We really appreciate everything.
You in.
Yeah, one of these days, man. Off-road is a small world, and we love everybody in it. So we'll see you guys soon. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Good night.
Thanks for listening to The Dirt Life Show. See you next week.